Now, Michael, does it even seem like reality that 2 weeks ago you were sitting here in my house and we were watching the countdown to the unlock of Elden Ring, and now it's 2 weeks later and I still haven't fucking beaten Elden Ring?
Yeah, you still haven't beaten it.
God damn it!
That's all you do somehow, and you still haven't beaten it.
It's so long. It's so long. Anyway, I can't beat Elden Ring, but I can do the Rage Select podcast no matter how tired I am from playing Elden Ring all night and not beating it.
That's all he does, guys.
I'm Jeff. I'm really tired.
And I'm Mike.
And you seem like you're regular tired. Like,
I mean, I'm regular tired. I worked today.
Just the exhaustion that we all have living in the world, and looking outside and
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
looking at our phones and stuff.
Took a shower.
I'm tired. I'm just looking at my phone. I'm tired. Yeah, I haven't beaten out. Of course, you know what? I do have to be upfront here. Where like, so normally I on Friday and Saturday nights, it's like, I like to sit down with a lot of beer and watch a bunch of TV and movies and animes and stuff like that. And I haven't stopped doing that. So technically there's like this whole like 4 or 5 hours on like Friday and Saturday night where I could be playing Elden Ring, but I can't play it when I'm blasted drunk.
Oh, okay.
I tried. Actually, I co-opted one of the first bosses like the first week it came out when I was really drunk, and I was really good at that because I was super overpowered. I'd fought him like 100,000 times.
Oh, okay.
But it was like literally the first boss. Like that guy's nothing. Matt was having a problem with him. I felt really bad last week because I co-opted into Matt's game and just fucking like thrashed the first boss that everybody gets stuck on, like on his fourth try. Like I was like, I don't even know if I should do this. This isn't the Souls experience. You should be hating life right now. You should be like, I spent 3 days trying to beat this one boss.
Is it the guy made of like multiple guys or some shit or whatever?
No, that's the second boss.
Okay.
It's the guy with like the tree growing out of his head.
Oh, that one. Which one is the horse guy?
The like the forest knight that's just out in the world.
Yeah, people keep talking about that guy.
Yeah, that guy. I mean, all right. There are a lot of enemies in Souls that start out as bosses and then just become like dudes later, and that guy might fall into that category. He may not. I don't know. I'm not saying spoilers. It's not a thing. So anyway, oh my God, Mike.
It's 100,000 hours. Who
It's
knows?
so long. I mean, well, it's
He could
also
become a Joe Bro for all we know.
it's also the first time I've played through the game. So like,
That's true. Which is a very long time.
Yeah, it takes a long time. The second time, it's like I'll know what to do and what not to do, and I'm just going to go get one of those mage builds that blast through everything and just fucking make the game look stupid. I'm going to make everybody look stupid. I'm going to speed run it. But somebody already has beat the game in 2 hours.
Really?
Which is already like a 2 hour speed run for
I'm not surprised by
Elden
that.
Ring.
Do they involve that finger thing you showed me?
No. the Finger Bros video that I should know. Just going to look that up. Anyway, so last week on Saturday when I wasn't playing Elden Ring, I decided to watch some stuff, right?
What did you watch?
Well, so I've been, a bunch of my animes went off, right? I think Attack on Titan is the only one that's still like ongoing
yeah.
that I'm like, I gotta, So I started watching this one that actually debuted, I think last year, called 86. That's like mechs, and it's like a really dour. The whole point of it is like there's a city full of racist anime waifus that are all like white hair and fair skin, and there's like a war that's been going on with these like autonomous drones from the neighboring state that have been attacking, and they've been fighting them back with the use of their own autonomous drones, and they're like, no humans are harmed in this war. Well, it turns out that like their autonomous drones are actually not autonomous. They're driven by people that like the Empire has decided to classify as like subhuman / non-human.
Oh, okay.
And then like the people in the capital, they're like operators that like tell them what to do with their big spider robots. And it's very dour. It's very good. Like very good. It's very dour. Last week I was like, I don't think I want to watch a dour war anime, man. Like I just like the world.
It's a weird time for that, yeah.
I don't think I want to watch it. So I ended up watching like 6 episodes of My Dress Up Darling instead.
Okay.
Which is the most wholesome and horny anime I've ever seen in my life, and it's basically
That's saying something.
It's about this guy, and he makes those little Japanese Hina dolls, like the little, it's like the little miniature dolls with little like geisha faces or little hats and stuff. It's like his
I didn't know they had
grandpa.
a name for that.
His grandpa made them, and he became enamored with them, and he's like super into it. But he's like really introverted because he tried telling people about it and they were like, dolls are for girls, fuck you. So he's in high school and he has no friends. And then through a kind of series of wackadoodle anime events, it turns out that the most popular girl in the class is like a wannabe cosplayer, but she doesn't know how to sew, and she finds out that he can make like the costumes, and so she drafts him into making like cosplay costumes for her.
Oh, okay.
But like the first costume that she wants him to make is from like a super hentai like game, and this dude is like a super buttoned up, like really conservative, like kind of freaking out guy, and she's like, no, you have to play the games to know all of the feelings so you can put that into the clothes that I'm gonna wear for the cosplay event. And so it becomes this whole thing. Like the second episode is her showing up at his house so he can take the measurements of her for the costume, and it's just like 20 minutes of like, what do I do? She's got boobs. What do I do?
Anime guys.
Yeah, and it's like he's really into her because she's like, live your dream. Fucking I love cosplay. It's great. Also, I don't care about taking my clothes off at all. And then she's like, I like this guy. He's just like very determined and very, I don't know. It's very strange. It was very fun. There were a lot of anime boobs in it, but there was also a lot of anime feelings in it. I don't normally go for the romance stuff, but this one had a lot of horniness to it.
Is it a romance thing though?
It is. It is, because it's very much about like this this extrovert pulling this introvert out of his shell, and then at the same time, like, she's like real into his passion for his own thing and is like encouraging him and being like, yeah, that's super awesome what you do. Like he carries around one of the doll heads and talks to it like a fucking creepy serial killer.
That's not weird at all.
And the first time that she sees it, she's like, oh man, she's so pretty. Can I look at that? And he's just like, what? A girl wants to know about my thing? And it's like,
that is kind of weird though.
So it totally
you
is.
realize when I saw that, I'd be like, that's weird, bud.
Yeah.
I think everything else you're doing is great, but that's fucking weird.
You're carrying around a doll head. Like, you imagine if it was just one of those like those horrible 80s plastic dolls. It was just like that horrible Sony commercial with the doll
I feel exactly like that. You fucking like get the fuck out of here.
Get away from me. Get away. No
the fuck
girl,
away from me.
No human woman would ever be like, oh, you carry around a doll head, do you? That's so charming and cute.
No
like that,
human being would have that thought process.
That's the power fantasy part of this anime where it's like, no, everybody thinks you're fucking weird, man.
That's really strange, bud. Like, even I do weird shit, and even I would be like, that's fucking weird.
That's all over the top. Dude, leave the doll head at home. Okay, we're going out to dinner. You don't have to bring her with you. Just leave her at home. Please don't talk to her.
Take the shrine down.
Yes.
Put the gun down.
Yes. Anyway, that's what I've been up to. Elden Ring and horny animes. How about you? What have you been doing recently?
I've been fairly busy this week.
Yeah.
The main two things that I know that I've still been keeping up with. I watched The Batman, of course, which is very, very long.
Do you want to give a brief thumbs up, thumbs down, and then we can refer people to your full review?
Well,
were you on the review it?
Yeah, I didn't review it.
Oh, well, tell us all about The Batman.
Well, The Batman, okay, because since I didn't review it, I'm just going to throw out my feelings on it.
Tell me.
It's so fucking long.
Yeah, it's 3 hours. I'm not going to go watch that.
Incredibly long. It's got 2 third acts. Kind of thing, like, because there's a point where you're like, this should be the end of the movie, and then there's a whole other act right after that.
A lot like Elden Ring. Let me ask you a question: is it too long? Like, did it need to be 3 hours long? Could they have cut an hour out of it?
I feel like it's a yes and no, depending on your thoughts on the second, third act.
Okay.
Because the second, third act is like a bigger climax than the other third act. Does that make sense?
God, just the phrase "the second, third act" makes me want to die. It makes me want to jump out the window.
It's true. They cut out some stuff though for that. I found out there's a specific cameo later on in the movie that turned out it wasn't supposed to be the only time that character shows up. Turns out there's another scene earlier, but again, it's a 3 hour long film. So they're like, why don't we just cut out some of this stuff?
No.
Other than that, I liked it a lot. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. I can't figure out the exact reason why I couldn't love it. Part of me is pretty sure one is because it's really fucking long.
Yeah.
And two, there's just something off about some of it. But I couldn't put my finger on it. But I'm probably not going to watch it again anytime soon.
Yeah.
I probably will once it's on HBO Max, because it's going to be on HBO Max on April 19th.
Oh, really? It's that soon? Okay.
Yeah, they're doing it super soon for some reason.
God. Well, fuck that. I'm not going to fucking coughing disease factory movie theater to watch a movie I'm not interested in that's going to be on streaming in a month.
Yeah, it's crazy how quick they're doing it. So that's supposed to be there in a month. I would honestly give it 8.5 personally
Out of 100?
out of 10 kind of thing, because like I still really liked it. All the parts that I liked, I really liked, and the parts that I didn't super love, I was like, this is fine. But
is it this is a feel free to don't answer this question if it ends up being like a problem, like a spoiler, right? But like, is it connected to Joker?
No.
Okay, so it's not in the same. It's not in the Joker-verse.
No, it easily could have been if they wanted to, but it's not.
Okay.
There's stuff in it that like,
and it's not.
Will show that it's not basically.
It's not in the main DC universe.
It's not part of the DCU either.
Or it's just like, oh, just kidding. This is a young Ben Affleck or something.
It's people thought that's what it was going to be, but no, it's its whole own thing.
Okay,
it's totally its own universe. They're gonna make they're gonna make HBO Max shows galore, of course. They're already talking about a Penguin show, and they're already talking about doing a Catwoman one now. Because people like them characters. So yeah, this thing's getting spin-offs galore.
How dare you? Just make more of my horny fucking cosplay anime. That's more Elden Ring, more cosplay anime, less Batman. No, I mean, can't they make like you know what? I really appreciate the fact that Marvel is making Moon Knight.
Yeah,
like that's a bold move, Cotton.
It really is. Yeah,
you know, why can't they make a Creeper spin-off show for DC and not like that. You know, Peacemaker was an ambitious spin-off. Like,
oh, absolutely.
So you liked it. It seems like,
it.
for the most part.
Yeah, there's
some qualms.
A lot of my thought processes are the same as Martin's. If you ever like look at whatever Martin said about it,
yeah,
I basically have the same thoughts that he does. The same with and Randy. Randy didn't even like it all that much either. And like, there's a lot of people that we know that were like are very similar in what I'm thinking, which is like it's good, but there's something that's just keeping us from loving it. Which is like there's so many other people that are like, I love this. This is my favorite Batman film.
No shade to Randy or anything, but the last time Randy posted like the Marvel movies in order of how much he liked each one of them, I was like, this is like I don't know, it's like you took the half, it's like you cut my list in two and then you took the second half and put it at the top. I was just
That's
like,
fair.
What?
But,
What?
The main thing I'll say about this movie is that it is a detective story at its heart.
Yeah.
So it's more of a noir detective story than it is like a big action piece superhero film for the most part.
Cool.
Which, you know, you're either gonna love that or you're gonna hate that. So
I think I said it to you, or I might have said it somewhere. I might have said it on the mic. Who knows? It's just like, man, I've been like soaking in Batman for my entire life. Like when I was a kid, they were showing the Adam West stuff in reruns, and then the 80s it was the Tim Burton Bat Fever, and then it was fucking Christopher Nolan, and everybody wouldn't shut the fuck up about that. And then it was like, can you believe it's going to be Batfleck? And now it's the new one. And I'm just like, guys, there are other fucking. It's like Spider-Man to me, where I'm just like, I don't know. It's like if you had a whole bunch of children and you only ever had birthday parties for like the ones you like the most. It's like, guys, what about
that? Would be weird. Yeah.
Dude, what about the other ones? What about Nightwing? Okay, we didn't even have to go outside of Batman. I'm not gonna have my Superman high horse. Why can't we have a Nightwing movie? Right?
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's like, why don't we get the other characters? But like Twitter's really stupid about it. They're like, oh, he shouldn't have a 12-year-old as a sidekick. Like, again, this is fiction, guys.
Right.
Like, you can let him do whatever he wants to.
Yeah.
I would love to have an actual Bat Family movie that doesn't involve Legos in some way, because that's the only thing about the Lego Batman films that I love more.
The movie's tight, man.
It's got the
Lego
fucking Bat Family in it.
Yeah.
It's fucking fantastic.
Yep.
But yeah, besides that, the only other things I've done, of course, is I'm keeping up with Superman and Lois still.
Yeah.
Of course, as I do. It has been a pretty solid season, all things considered.
Uh-huh.
And then anything other than that, I haven't really played all that much games this week because I didn't
play
really
Elden
have
Ring.
time.
Elden Ring, Michael. Elden Ring. I need more people to play Elden Ring.
I keep thinking about it. I might get it. I don't know. We'll see how this weekend goes.
I need more people to play it. Come on.
I don't think that's how that works, Jeff.
Boo. Well, maybe you'll find something to play in the state of play that we had last week.
Check out
those smooth transitions.
The transitions.
Ooh, man, it's been a few years, but my transitions are getting smoother. Yeah, we had a state of play this week. I'm gonna be honest up front. I mean, you know, this was it was okay. Like
There's two things in there that I loved.
yeah, there's a couple of things. Well, yeah, you got fucking bunch of birthday presents out of this. I didn't get anything. Nobody got me nothing. They were just like, you just got Elden Ring, okay?
That's true.
And I'm like, what about that Hitman like roguelike thing? When is that coming out? Maybe announce, hey, that's out today, PlayStation exclusive or something. But
I forgot that was a thing.
yeah, well, or maybe like, here's another Hideo Kojima game, but no, that's not what happened. We did though get one of the weirdest things. They did kick it off. Okay, like
It is not what you think it was going to be the entire time you watch it.
like it starts with this robot having the weather forecast. There's a lot of dinosaurs in the weather forecast.
The chance of dinosaurs is not a sentence anybody expects.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, so what if Anthem was also EDF, but instead of bugs, it was dinosaurs, and it was made by Capcom? Question mark?
Yeah.
That's the game. Like, these big portals open up. I don't know what aliens or dimensional people or time or whatever is going on here, but they've got a really inefficient dinosaur delivery system where they just open big portals and dump dinosaurs like the zombies from World War Z out, like just into the world.
It's like if somebody was dumping fish out of a truck.
Yeah.
Except they were dinosaurs.
Except they're dinosaurs.
And it's just literally falling out just like that. And it's kind of amazing.
And then there's a bunch of what look, I mean, okay, guys, like seriously, this was a Dino Crisis game, right?
It feels like it was supposed to be a Dino Crisis
It was supposed to be a Dino Crisis game, and then they decided not to do that because of some dumb reason. Like, isn't this red-haired girl, like, isn't there a red-haired lady in Dino Crisis
It looks
that's
a
like
lot
a main
like her,
character?
yeah.
And doesn't Dino Crisis have a whole, like, this is actually the future? It's like a time loop thing where it's like
I don't remember.
They go into
actually, on that one.
cryostasis and they come out, and it's like the ancient past, but it turns out it's the future, and they're all like on a starship or some bullshit like that.
I don't remember Dino Crisis that well, apparently.
Dino Crisis 3, I think, was that.
That might have been it, yeah. I never played through though. That's the thing.
I heard some guys on a podcast talk about it one time. But yeah, and then it appears that it's like a third-person squad-based action game with mech suits that look really close to what's in Anthem.
They're really close to Anthem.
But you're killing a bunch of dinosaurs. And like, I'm kind of all right with this. Well, I liked Anthem, okay? Like, nobody should take anything that I say seriously because I kind of actually liked Anthem. But I do really like this one part where there's like a shield mech that has a big laser shield, like what's his face from Overwatch?
Reinhardt. Yeah.
And you can see at a certain point that there's like the dinosaurs are piling up to get over the shield like zombies.
That's the thing about it. It looks like there's so many dinosaurs on the screen that I can't help but really be into this fucking thing.
Yeah, it's EDF but with dinosaurs, and you know that's pretty cool. There's like an evil Triceratops. And there's a big Tyrannosaurus. Sure, Capcom. You know, Capcom's been on a roll recently. They haven't done me wrong. What was the last thing Capcom put out? Was it what was the last regular? Oh,
I don't
Village.
remember. Yeah, it
Right.
must have been Village.
The last I was gonna say like single player because I know that they've had a bunch of stuff for like Street Fighter or whatever. But
Yeah, there's been a lot of DLC for Street Fighter, but that's different.
what the hell is Capcom Games? There we go.
Capcom presents.
Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter was a bit of all right, you know.
Yeah, I think that was besides. Yeah, I think that was the last thing they came out
Yeah,
with.
Monster Hunter Rise. So yeah, you want to do Monster Hunter, but in the future with mech suits? I'll go for it.
Exo Primal.
Fucking terrible name. Horrible name.
It's a weird fucking name.
Horrible name. Exo Primal. It sounds like what was the Evolve? It's like Evolve, where it's like I'm gonna spend the next like 6 months trying to remember what the name of this game is.
Oh, absolutely.
It should have been called like Dino Fuckers or like fucking
Dino Punches.
Yeah,
The Dino Punchers.
Dino Punchers. Yeah, they
I'd
probably
be
wouldn't
cool with that.
probably wouldn't put fuckers in the name. Dino Punchers. Punchosaurus Flex. It's
That's the name of the character, yeah.
so yeah.
If that's a creative character, we should call our character Punchosaurus Flex.
Punchosaurus Flex. I will
Make sure
not.
you remind us, Internet.
Yeah, I will not remember by the time this fucking game comes out to call my character Punchosaurus Flex because it's coming out next year. PS5, PS4, 2023. So yeah. Let's see. From there, it's going to be a lot of just like, oh yeah, I know what that is, because from there, what do we do? What do we go to? It was Ghostwire Tokyo.
Which is the most story stuff we've seen for Ghostwire Tokyo that I know of.
Yeah, I think that they had that whole visual novel that came out last week or week before.
Oh, I forgot about that.
The free visual novel on the PS5 for it, which Tess and I started playing for Rage Select, but it was very novel, not very visual. So
okay. Just a lot of reading.
Yeah. We'll kind of get back to Ghostwire Tokyo later. I mean, like, I feel like at this point we have enough information. I guess it's, 2 weeks until it comes out?
It's pretty soon, actually.
2.5 weeks till it comes out.
Yeah,
so.
and I still feel I'm pretty hopeful for it because I like its aesthetic and I like the idea of what it's doing.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it turns out good.
I mean, it's just Shadow Warrior, Michael. It's like some guy and he's got a fucking spirit in his head and he's fighting a bunch of demons and stuff.
Yeah, but they're all like really like intricately. Like they're really horrifying looking.
Yeah,
the ones that they've shown so far, and it's all very based on Japanese folklore.
Yeah,
which is real. Their ghosts are really fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes this like really exciting, to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm okay with. I don't have anything to complain about. Well, you know what? Nope. I thought I had something. I didn't. I have nothing to complain about with Ghostwire Tokyo. I can't wait to play it. So far, Tango Softworks has been 1.5 for 2, so I'll give him this one.
It looks pretty exciting.
So let's see. From there, we got a new trailer for our favorite chaotic video game,
Strangers in Paradise. Cheeseburgers in Paradise. Sorry,
I think is it Stranger of Paradise?
I don't remember.
What is the name of this fucking thing?
Chaos. It's called Chaos. That's its full title.
Let's see, Ghostwire, Stranger of Paradise. Yeah, because Strangers in Paradise. It's like that movie with that one guy that Jim Jarmusch made.
Oh,
or something.
Okay. I was like, what are you just saying things?
No, I'm not. This. I mean, there's nothing here that I haven't yet seen. I know I said that before, but like. It's just an action montage. It's like a 30-second action montage.
Well, it's nice seeing him more in like Final Fantasy armors, instead of just his V-neck shirt.
Yeah, that. I mean, we kind of got away from that during the demo when they actually shut it off. Oh, actually, speaking of that, there's a new demo. There's a new demo for it,
and the game comes out really soon too.
Yeah, I mean, it comes out
like a week.
The end of this coming week.
Yeah, because next week is the 14th.
Yeah,
so I think it's a Thursday.
Yeah. It comes out the 18th, so it comes out a week from when we're recording this,
Friday.
which is on Friday. So it comes out on Friday. Which I mean, the thing is, I think that in the comments, I was like, the Discord server, I would say, people were watching the State of Play, and I was like, "Oh, did they announce any? And it's out today things?" And they're like, just a demo for Stranger of Paradise, and a Stranger of Paradise. See, now you got me doing it, and now, and I was just like, that game comes out in a week. Like, there's no reason to spoil it for yourself. Just wait and then play the full game.
It's more like if you want to see if you want to buy this game, which is what demos originally were supposed to be for. So yeah,
weird. Anyway, yeah, it's a weird fucking game. I still have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. On the one hand, I like Team Ninja, and on the other hand, I kind of hate Square Enix at this point in my life.
It's hard not to hate them, to be honest.
Also, by the way, I should put out a quick retraction. Somebody in the comment section of our video for Babylon's Fall pointed out that I was completely wrong, and Square Enix did publish Project Triangle Strategy on the Switch, and I just looked. I'm very bad at looking shit up on my phone. I hate my phone. I hate cell phones. I don't like them. I don't like to use them. I sit in front of a computer all day. I don't need to use a cell phone. So, but yeah. So, speaking of Square Enix, Forspoken, we got another trailer for Forspoken.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot this trailer happened.
Did you totally forget? I was trying to think of. Okay. Michael, here's the thing. I was looking at this trailer, and I was trying to understand. I was looking deep inside of myself, and I was like, I'm not excited by this at all. Why am I not excited by this at all? And I think that the problem that I'm having with Forspoken has absolutely nothing to do with what they've shown and everything to do with what they haven't shown, which is what makes this game special. Like the parts of the story that we've seen seem like pretty standard. It's like an isekai, and there's like the world, and you got to save it. Blah blah blah. The action appears to be some kind of third person combat with like magic system or whatever, but I don't know enough specifics. Right at this point, it's like the game engine it looks like it's just Unreal, so it's like, I mean, like the Unreal Engine, not just like, oh, it's Unreal, man. So like it looks good, right? The video games like don't look bad unless it's Babylon's Fall, but
the game looks so bad, guys.
but like it looks fine, and the action from what I'm seeing looks fine. The character looks fine, but I have really no concept of like what makes this special at all. And that's the problem that I've been having with Forspoken, is they've concentrated so much on like, look how much the main character looks like this actress, and like look at all the particle effects in these action scenes, but I don't get, like, it just looks like a third person open world action game. And because it's not a sequel, because I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, let's be real here, right? Like, I got excited when they showed Horizon Forbidden West. I got excited when they showed Elden Ring. But like, I know what those games were going to play like because I know the companies that they're from. I have no frame of reference about whether this is going to be like, Souls style deliberate combat, or Devil May Cry style button jammy combat, or like, something in between, like Kingdom Hearts style combat. Like, I just, all that they've shown, they've kept the trailer so opaque that I have no conception of what this game is going to be like to play, and I can't really extrapolate it from what they've shown in the trailers. Does that make sense?
No, I get it. Yeah, well, that's the thing about Forspoken, is like, I like the idea of Forspoken, but there's something that's keeping me from being like super excited for it. Mm-hmm. But I can't put my finger on it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
like, the story seems fine, and yeah, everything looks really nice and stuff. But I've seen a lot of game trailers where I thought the same thing, and then you play the game itself, and you're like, oh, this is boring as shit.
Yeah. Like, it's
I'm
no
looking
longer
at you, Order 1886, you fucker.
It's no longer enough just to have like a good. I mean, like, again, Babylon's Fall doesn't look nearly as good as this, but you look at Babylon's Fall and like, it was competent, but it was that's not enough anymore.
No,
like,
it's not.
You need something good. Like,
There's
I like
so many games out there in the world.
I like the part where she's got like the little ice skateboard or whatever, or ice surfboard, and there's like definitely some kind of elemental combat. But like, I know more about Ghostwire Tokyo from the various things that they've shown than I do about this game, and I think that if I was going to get excited, I would need to know more. So I kind of wish that they would do, like, instead of these sizzle trailers, that they would do a kind of like, before Guardians came out, right? Where they would
the super in-depth thing they did?
Yeah, they would like show people playing the game and explain how the combat works and how you're able to, like, trigger the other people.
I'd be cool with that, yeah.
Like, just something to show me why I should be excited for another third-person action game with good fire effects and dragons.
The main thing I'm excited about is it's a new IP. And yeah, I'm always glad when the new IPs happen.
Yeah,
because if it turns out to be good, it means that we can get more stuff that like that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and that's October 11th, which we'll get back to in a minute. So, yes, from there, we got a trailer for, I think this is where we enter the Michael zone, to be honest with you.
This is, I'm just happy to see that this game's still being made.
Gundam Evolution got a new trailer. I actually I can't wait to play this game. Like,
I'm super fucking curious.
The idea of Overwatch but with Gundams, I'm like, yes please. I was saying in the Discord, like, as soon as all the Overwatch players get bored and go back to Overwatch, I'm gonna really be excited about playing this video game, because I really liked playing Gundam Battle Operations 2, and the idea of having one of those but a little bit more faster, a little bit more, not as fast as the fucking Breakers or whatever, like, not virtual on, but the kind of just like, oh, it's a first person shooter, but you play as a Gundam instead of a purple lady, and it's like,
I love the whole fucking just idea of a first person shooting Gundam game.
Yeah,
that shit's fucking bananas.
A hero shooter Gundam game.
Seeing the fucking blaster for the RX-78 like in first person is a fucking trip, guys.
Yeah,
it's a fucking trip.
I just wish they would make. I was gonna say I just wish they would make single player games, but maybe if this game does well, they'll do like that Project Fairy game and make like a single player campaign for this game that you can go play.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they use this engine for like other just random plot things. Yeah, I would love that.
But yeah, they're doing. I don't think there was a release date, but they are doing a network test.
I think in April.
Just a spring.
Okay.
Yeah, in Japan.
So maybe spring.
And America, spring 2022. I honestly, I'm very choosy about my Gundam games, but this one looks really fun. So
It looks pretty cool.
I'll play it when it comes
It's
out.
unique as hell.
Let's see. From there,
Yes.
Michael he's more excited. I told him about this, and he was more excited than I've ever seen him for anything in his entire life.
You guys have no idea how much I fucking love these Ninja Turtles games.
So Konami is putting out a pack, is bundling together a bunch of really old and esoteric Ninja Turtle games and putting them out. And it's
So many of them, guys.
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, Turtles in Time, TMNT on the NES, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2 arcade game on the NES, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 on the NES, Tournament Fighters, Turtles in Time, Tournament Fighters from the Super Nintendo, the Hyperstone Heist from the Genesis, Tournament Fighters from the Genesis. There's like 5 different versions of Tournament Fighters in here. Fall of the Foot Clan from the Game Boy, back from the sewers from the Game Boy, and Radical Rescue from the Game Boy. It's a bunch of old. I mean, that's all Konami does at this point is put out old versions of or collections of their old games because they're definitely not making anything new.
Well, the thing about this specific collection is that no one thought that would happen.
Yeah.
Because these games just have never really been re-released all that often. The only ones that got re-released in the past like decade, if not longer than that, is Ninja Turtles the arcade game. But you had to, but it had all this Ubisoft shit on it. From that TMNT game movie that came out at that point. That CGI one, if you remember correctly, from way back when.
Nope, I don't know what you're talking about.
The only way to play the Turtles in Time arcade game was you had to buy the third game for the 2003 series, get to a certain point, and all of the voices were replaced by the characters or by the voice actors for that game.
I know the movie you're talking about, the Transformers one, right? Like the live action CG.
the CGI one, like the full CGI one they made.
Oh, okay.
With Patrick Stewart.
Nope.
As the bad guy.
Maybe.
It was like 2008 or so, 2009, something like that.
I don't keep track of. Ninja Turtles movies.
But yeah, those were the only times they ever released those 2 specific games, and they were like I said, they were like so fucking specific.
Yeah,
and they were all taken off of ways of being bought, and then they re-released Turtles in Time, but only as this really really bad CGI remake, or not CGI 3D remake that had none of the music, and so it's just fucking impossible to get any of these games legally. For decades. And so I'm so fucking excited because these games are so stupidly expensive on eBay because they're so hard to find that this is just magic to me. It's just pure fucking magic.
Are you gonna buy this and play all of them?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Absolutely.
What about the Game Boy ones?
I did that one day when I discovered ROMs when I was younger. I downloaded them all and I beat all 3 of them.
Oh my god. All right, well,
save states.
Fucking cowabunga.
I'm super fucking excited, guys,
man,
because the music is all of these games are my childhood, including its music, because the fact that me and my brothers, because I have 3 brothers, so there's 4 of us, and all 4 of us have a very specific favorite of these characters, and so whenever we had these, we played them together all the time. And we always picked the one that we want. It was the only game that we would play that we didn't fight over who got who. Like ever. And I love that about that.
Well, there you go. Did you whoop other asses in the Tournament Fighters?
Of course I did.
Yeah, let's figure as much. So yeah, that's coming out sometime this year.
I'm super fucking excited, guys.
Yep.
I'm going to buy it on everything.
If Matt was here, we would take a brief Matt Frank break because we got a trailer for Gigabash, which is the big...
is this the one that he worked on?
No, his was the other one. This is more of like top-down Smash Brothers. I think the other one's more of like a fighting game.
Oh, okay. I could have sworn he worked on this one, but I guess
he might have done something for it. But yeah, I mean, it's a big kaiju. Like it reminds me of there was what was it, like War of the Monsters or whatever
I could see that,
on the Neo Geo, where it's kind of like a 3D top-down kind of fighting between the different kaijus, but in like a city. The other one I think is more of like a brawler.
Okay, well, it's good to be a kaiju fan right now. Then,
yeah,
get these kaiju games again.
Mm-hmm. The world is
not name brand kaijus, but
rediscovered kaijus. Well, you know,
name brand kaijus are expensive, guys.
That's right. 2022.
Gotta get them Hill Country kaijus.
This generic kaiju, Kirkland brand kaiju.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, no. The
The
other,
Sam's.
I should have said the other one is Dawn of the Monsters.
Oh, okay.
And that one comes out literally this week. Like
Okay, the week of this coming out.
Yeah. So, yeah. Gigabash also looks cool. Let's see. After that, we got more for Michael.
Yes.
More things for Michael. I actually knew what this was. I knew that when this started that it was like, oh, those are the little thingies from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
It's menacing.
So this is a PS3 game, you said?
Yes, this was exclusively on the PS3.
Okay.
It was the only way in fact, back in the day, the only way you could get this physically was you had to buy it on Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon was the only place that sold it physically.
What?
So, which was so fucking weird.
That is fucking weird.
So I did own it at one point, and it was only a PS3 game, so it's very, very difficult to buy.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle. You said that we played it. Aaron
Yes.
and I played it.
You and Aaron played it on Rage Select, and you wanted to make it the official fighting game of Rage Select
because
back
it was
in the day.
so fucking goofy.
Yeah, because it's goofy as fuck. And I'm super excited because I love this game. This game was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're adding 10 new characters.
Who?
We don't know yet. Although one of them, we know one of them. Somebody found it online. You remember Trish from Part 5?
Yeah.
She's being added to it.
Oh, okay.
That got confirmed, but we don't know
Trish
who
was
else.
in the Italy one.
Yeah.
Okay,
She's the pink.
just the
She's the boss's daughter.
Yeah. Okay, but like this already had like Jolene and like
this had
Sailor Boy JoJo. I don't know
Yeah.
which one that is.
Yeah, that had Part 8 Josuke.
Okay.
But some people are pretty sure some of the characters are going to be added are more Part 8 characters.
Okay.
Because when this first came out, Part 8 had basically just started.
Okay.
Which was like 2013 or something like that.
And this is like a 2D. I mean, it's 3D, but it's like a
Yeah, it's a side-by-side
side.
fighting
Okay,
game.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, something like that. Because it's not like an arena thing.
Okay.
And you can't like sidestep. I think I actually don't remember if you can. I don't think you can sidestep in this game. It's been a while since I played this one.
And do we know anything else? I mean, do you know anything else about like what this because it's like Type R? What they're adding outside of characters? Are they adding any modes or stages?
They've changed the voices because when the game came out, a lot of the part animes didn't exist yet,
Sure.
and so the voice actors were just guys that
stand-ins.
It wouldn't be easy to call them stand-ins, but like some of them were definitely the voices that were not the voices in the animes,
Right.
And so what they did is they went back and they added the people who are in the animes now as those characters instead.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think of the look of this? It's got a lot of like it's very dark. It's got a lot of black lines in it. It's very kind of like tilts more high contrast, low luminosity kind
I've always really liked the look of this game. It's always been one of my favorite. It was one of my favorite things to play when I had a PS3. I played the shit out of this game.
Okay.
I was obsessed with using fucking Jonathan Joestar because he was so fucking badass. But God, I can't wait for this game to come out.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I will buy the hell out of this too.
Why can't there be Hitman content?
Maybe they'll add Hitman to it. You don't know.
Agent 47 and JoJo's.
I'd play that.
Just be like, I'm leaving now. Yeah, so early fall, this is going to be coming out. Let's see. You know what? Okay, I got a little bit of a bone to pick. Why do I always put fucking him, Jotaro? Like I watched a bunch of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and like there are a lot of cool dudes in this show, and they always put Jotaro like front and center in everything.
So the main reason for that is actually pretty easy. It's the one that America knew the most because they made the OVA with him and the Capcom fighting game with him.
Yeah,
and he's based on Clint Eastwood,
the fucking dude from Stardust. No, not Stardust. Not Diamond. Diamond is Unbreakable.
Are you talking about Part 4?
Yeah,
that's Diamond Unbreakable. Diamond is Unbreakable.
The one in the town.
Josuke?
Yes.
Yeah. What about him?
He's the best one.
He's great. I love
the
Josuke.
best one. He's the best one.
My favorite is Joseph Joestar,
His fucking goofy ass hair. I love his goofy hair.
which is fair. Although don't tell him that to his face because he will beat the shit out of you.
Oh yeah, but then he'll heal you and it's fine. Except
Will he, though?
it'll be slightly different than before he beat your ass.
Turn you into a rock.
And Giorno is also pretty cool too.
Giorno's pretty cool.
I like him.
He's pretty badass.
I haven't seen enough of Jolene yet. There were like 8 episodes and then they stopped. I'm like, when is the rest of this, motherfuckers?
Yeah,
like,
Stone Ocean is an interesting one.
So Yeah, let's see. From there, we got a new trailer for Trek to Yomi, which is that Devolver Digital kind of 2D black and white side-scrolling semi 3D samurai game.
It looks pretty cool, actually. This was the most interesting thing out of this thing.
Yeah, we saw this at E3.
Yeah, and apparently there's already like a beta or something on Steam or something? Question mark?
Oh, I don't know.
I saw that in the comments of the State of Play.
What I didn't realize, though, Michael, was at the end when they bring up the credits, Flying Wild Hog is.
I didn't know that either.
Is
yeah.
on here, and I'm just like, guys, you guys are really. They're just like Flying Wild Hog. Have 4 more projects because Shadow Warrior 3, and then this, and then that weird Western thing that they're making.
Maybe Lo Wang is in this game.
Oh my God, this is special Lo Wang. It's like putting Duke Nukem in Bulletstorm, except worse.
I don't know if that's worse or better. I'd play either one of those. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this looks. I mean, it looks a lot like what, like
What
a
if they
2D.
put Duke Nukem in this instead?
No,
Like it'd be so fucking weird.
like a 2D kind of Bushido blade thing. Oh, well, not even 2D because it's like it's mostly just these fixed camera angles, but a lot of them are from the side. It looks good. It kind of reminds me. I get the feeling that it's going to end up being like a Sifu or a Katana Zero, like a very difficult. But you know,
I could definitely see that
once you get the mechanics down. It's going to be good. There are a few points in this trailer where they zoom up on these character models that are obviously meant to be seen from very far away. It's like they're okay, they're all right.
Well, it's one of those games that's like very like it's designed to not be super detailed.
Yeah,
but not really. That's not too much of an issue based on how far away it would be looking.
Also, I'm pretty sure that like it's so weird this game because. Like at the bottom, they have all of the companies that made it. One of them is just a guy's name, it's just Leonard Menciari, and it's
Leonard.
like, all right. I think that Leonard was probably the main person, and then what Flying Wild Hog probably gave him like tech assistants and stuff like that.
That's most likely what started it. Yeah,
but
he didn't have a company name yet.
Yeah, spring of 2022. Hey, as long as it's not Gilson, man. As long as it's
cool
not
with that,
Gilson Games. Let's see. After that, we got the announcement that Returnal is getting some DLC, and this is really interesting because it's getting co-op added to it, which is like maybe a reason to go back and play Returnal because I kind of bounced off Returnal because the first area was both boring and hard, and I was like, I'm not enjoying this. And then it was like, oh, well, it gets better when you get to the second area, and I'm like, that's cool. I'm never gonna. So you can just tell me everything that happens. But
I kept meaning to buy this, but this way would be a good reason to get it.
Yeah,
it's also getting a survival mode apparently.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, you know, like that's cool. I really did want to play more of Returnal, but like the opening area I just wasn't having part of it because there's a part early on where like. You go into the house and you start like picking stuff up from first person. There's like an astronaut standing around outside. I'm just like, interesting. I'd like to know more, but I don't actually want to play this game. I just want to know more. You know, the only other thing that could have been more exciting is they would have just been like, hey, there's also an easy mode now. And I'd be like, yes, okay, thank you. I will play it on easy.
Sifu got an easier mode, didn't it?
Did it?
I heard that it was getting one. If it hasn't already.
I'm done. I'm done with that game. Fucking done. March 22nd is when that update is coming out. And then I think that was what we're wrapping it up with 2 Square Enix games.
Yeah, that we didn't really care for. To be honest.
I mean, like I'll be honest. The first one, that's a funky name. The Dio Field Chronicle.
Dio.
Don't you start. Don't you fucking start. We already talked about JoJo once this podcast. This is kind of interesting. Like I don't know, man. It's just like, all right, here's a bunch of medieval fantasy kingdoms and the alliance, and between the two there's the Federation, and it's like this really weird, it's like a real-time strategy game that you can like pause and then issue orders for, I guess, and like trigger like special events and stuff, which is kind of an interesting concept. But I mean, you know, knowing like the way that strategy game aficionados and developers are these days, I get the feeling that it's going to be really long and super convoluted, and I'm gonna lose interest. You know what one of the best turn-based strategy games I played in the last 5 years was, Michael?
What was that?
Gears Tactics.
Oh yeah, I was
Gears.
surprised by that. You were really into Gears Tactics.
Man, Gears Tactics was a blast because it was just like, I don't know, here's a little bit of talking, and then you get to go out, fucking chainsaw some. I like Gears Tactics more than any of the other Gears games. It is my
Those
number
games are
one,
not great, to be honest.
number one Gears game, hands
Don't add
down.
me, by the way. Gears of War is not a great series.
Actually, I liked the last one. The what was like 6 or whatever that
5, I think.
I don't know if I was before that, but anyway,
I could have sworn 5 was the last one they made
I could be totally wrong.
because people were mad about 4.
If they were mad about 4, then yeah, 5 was the one. It was pretty good. Anyway, yeah, this is.
They got the word war out of it too.
The other thing about this one is just like, again, Square Enix. Like, I would have been more interested if you'd have shown me like 25 seconds worth of gameplay as opposed to this trailer that is just a sizzle reel. Like, I just don't trust the sizzle reel anymore, Michael, because anything can be made to look good with a sizzle reel.
Oh, that's 100%. It's what we were talking about with Forspoken.
Yeah.
Like anything can look really, really cool with this as a reel, and then you get the game itself, and you're like, oh, this is pretty boring.
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of really boring, last but definitely least, man, I don't know. I liked. I played Valkyrie Profile Lenneth, which was like a GBA game, I believe, a long time ago, and I really liked it. It had kind of an interesting setup and concept, and like the gear system was kind of interesting. This is oh god, what is it called? Valkyrie Elysium. And it's part of it looks like it's part of the Valkyrie Profile series. And again, more than Forspoken, less than more than Forspoken, I look at this and go like, this looks like a generic third-person action game.
This one looks super generic is the thing. Like, even its environments and the animations on people.
Yeah.
Like, there's a point where she gets attacked, like somebody grabs her and slams her down, and it looks so bland the way it happens.
Yeah, which, again, is not to say that it's gonna be a bad game. It's just that, like, what you're showing me is just a montage of hitting stuff in a really empty third person. Like, look at the environments in this world where it's like there's nothing. There's nothing trees, there's no vegetation. It's like big open fields, big open like castles. Like, look at the background of this shot where it's like there's nothing here except for this one enemy, this castle. There's no like smoke, there's no fire, there's no like bodies. It's just this very flat, very sparse area. And like, guys, I need more out of my video games. Like, I can't. Looks really dull.
What it reminds me of the most are those digital only games that were made during the 360 era, where there was just like nothing going on in the backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah,
like it looked like a game that could have been made for a PS2.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks. Well, you know what? Actually, I'll tell you what it reminds me of a little bit is like Nier Replicant, except that like because Nier Replicant had these big like kind of open sparse like areas, but the thing is that the story of Nier Replicant was really good. And the thing is that if this has a really good story, that's great. But if it has a really good story and then the combat is very generic, you can't wow me with a sizzle trailer of combat, guys.
That's
like,
true.
you need to tell me more about the story and less about the generic ass combat. And then I'll be like, ooh, interesting. I am interested. I wonder what happens next. Also, I mean, you know, we've talked about this a few times, and I'm sure that this is my new thing, and I need everybody to get on board with me here, or just like be okay with me talking about it and not tell me to shut the fuck up or anything. This is going to tell me to shut the fuck up now, but like Square's just been cranking out like mediocre shit. Like
They have, to be honest.
I mean, you know, like the games that we saw here today. I guess Final Fantasy 14 is good, but it took like years to get to that point. Final Fantasy 15 was mediocre shit. Like, the Avengers is mediocre shit. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, sometimes it's not fun to play some mediocre shit.
Guardians was the last one I really liked.
And Guardians was like a few notches above mediocre. Like,
And I know what I said. I play a lot of Avengers, and I know what I said.
Guardians could very well have slipped into being mediocre given the
easily.
constraints that were put on it. And there were a few parts of Guardians that were a little mediocre. It's just it had some really nice high points, right?
Yeah.
But there were a lot of times where you're just chugging through enemies that was just like, why do you think this is what I want to do? Just like, fucking, I'm Jeff from Rage Select. I've got a Souls problem. Say what you will about Elden Ring, but like, as you move through the world, there's different enemies that have different types of attacks, and so you have to like come at them differently, and you have to adjust your strategy on the fly based on whether you're dealing with a flying enemy or a big enemy or a fast enemy or whatever. And just so much of this looks so dull, especially even considering like you could compare it to something like Devil May Cry 5, right?
That game's so good, guys.
Like, look at the trailer for Devil May Cry 5. There are 3 different protagonists that all have third-person action, and they have different moves, and they have different move sets. But even just looking at the trailer for that, you can tell that it's got something going on. It's got some style. It's got some, like, grabbing
Got some
stuff.
steak on it.
Yeah. Whereas you look at this Valkyrie Elysium trailer, and it's just like, what is this? Just like fucking white woman punches gargoyles. Like, who cares? Like, what you're banking on the name, and like they're burning through the names, right? Like one after another.
My favorite thing is they're banking on a name that no one really all knows that much, to be honest.
Right.
I don't have any idea what Valkyrie Profile is.
And meanwhile, like if you were a company that was so obsessed with moving units, because we had that story a few weeks back,
fucking hell, guys,
about how they were unhappy with the way that Guardian sold. If you were so obsessed with moving the maximum number of units, why would you flood the market with things like, if you wanted to move units of the Avengers or Final Fantasy XIV, why would you even develop Babylon's Fall in the first place? Like, you would have been better to have Platinum come in and make 5 levels for the Avengers for the next year than to spend all this time making a game that, even if it's successful, is just going to cannibalize your other game.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to take people from another one of your games, So I don't get it. Like, I just don't fucking get it. Like, I don't understand what Square is doing, because I mean, we've got all the stuff that we just talked about. There's again, like Final Fantasy 14 is still going on, shows no signs of calming down. You got the Project Triangle strategy that just came out. That's that. Do they own the rights to the Front Missions remakes that are coming out for the Switch? I believe.
I feel like they do.
I believe that's the case.
They're still making Final Fantasy 16 as well.
They're making Final Fantasy 16. I'm trying to think of anything else, but like, yeah, I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, because it used to be. This is what it is. It used to be that if the name Square was on the box, you knew that you were going to get something interesting.
Yeah.
Like, The Bouncer may not have been my favorite game, but it was an interesting game.
I liked the Bouncer a lot when it came out.
Einhander might not have been like GOTY fucking 1998 or whenever it came out, but like it was fucking weird, and it was an interesting take on that, Whereas now it's just like, man, you just keep stacking it and stacking it and stacking, and every time you put out a game that ends up being kind of bleh, or that it's so boring that I don't even want to play it, like, your estimation, in my opinion, moves down a notch until the point where I don't feel like I could trust the publisher anymore. And
I haven't trusted Square in a very long time.
Yeah.
They've proven that they're not trustworthy.
Yeah,
because even when they make good stuff, they're like, it's super disappointing that this super good game didn't sell a bajillion copies. It's like, you guys are fucking stupid,
right? Why can't they keep their mouth shut about that shit?
They're idiots. They don't understand.
Like, even if you were disappointed, why don't you keep that internal instead of talking about it on like a stock call or whatever? Because it just signals to the rest of us that you're completely out of touch when it comes to your expectations for how to sell video games.
Yeah, that Tomb Raider sold better than any of their other Tomb Raiders, and the guy still stepped down.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. What do we got? Final Fantasy 16 Forspoken, the Centennial Case of Shijima story. I don't know what that means. Fuck that is.
I have no idea what that is.
Stranger Paradise, right? Did you know, Michael, that yesterday, we're recording this on the 11th, did you know that yesterday that Final Fantasy kart racing game came out?
Did it?
Chocobo GP came out yesterday.
I had no idea it came out.
Yeah. Like, did you know that? Is that a good sign that you didn't know that?
Oh, geez.
We had Project Triangle strategy. We had Babylon's Fall. We had the Final Fantasy VI Pixel remaster, which is not on consoles. It's only on phones
Still
and
fucking
PC.
weird.
The Voice of Cards came out like last month. We had Star Ocean game that came out. Oh, wait, these are coming out. These are coming soon. So, anyway, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, well. Oh, man. You know what? We're a little under the hour mark, but we also have the entire rest of the week worth of news to go over.
Oh, shit.
So rather than start that and then have to break after the first story, I think we're going to take an early break, and then we come back, we're going to go hardcore, full throttle. Jeff complains for an hour straight.
Jesus.
Hit the dislike button. I'll be back. I'll be back for your dislikes in a minute. And we're back. And Michael, I'm afraid that it's time to get a little heavy. We got a heavy section of the podcast coming up. So
There's that word again, heavy. What's wrong with the gravitational pull in the future?
Yeah, I wish that it would be funny. So yeah, we had a bunch of I'll leave it to anybody out there to go watch, like, for real Zoe's news about the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. But there have been a number of different stories that have come out of this that are specifically video game related, because, you know, there are video game developers all over the world, including in Ukraine and also in Poland, which is right next to Ukraine. So this article I kind of started with, there's like just some kind of general game developers talking about how, you know, there was one that was just so, like, was one developer talking about how, like, you know, it's really hard to concentrate on game development right now, and it was just like, dude, it is okay to fucking stop game development.
Yeah, just don't do anything.
Like, in some cases, there are a few companies that are in Ukraine that, like, have games that are, like, ready to put out, and they're, like, kind of trying to go through, you know, certain channels to try to get those games out to the world. And I don't know, I'm kind of just like, just fucking take a breather, man.
Yeah,
like,
take a sabbatical.
No amount of, like, good Twitter coverage is going to be worth, like, you know, you take care of you right now.
Yeah.
So there's a few different kind of stories that we're going to go over here. There was Pingle Studio that this is the one they talked about being trapped in Kharkiv, and kind of sheltering with their family and stuff like that. So game designer Redbeat saying the teams have volunteered for the territorial defense organization. So there's Frogwares is trying to they're trying to keep their members supported who live in Ukraine. So yeah, there's just kind of a general idea of what's going on here. We have some more specifics though. Bunch of companies doing a lot of different things. So the first one is Sega and Tecmo Koei have both made financial donations to relief efforts for Ukrainians. Let's see. Sega donated. Oh my God, I read these. They put Sega didn't disclose how much they're donating, but Tecmo.
It's all chili dogs.
Oh God,
chili dogs and rings.
Oh God. Tecmo Koei said that they're donating $500,000 to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and yeah, there's been a bunch of other places that are doing the same. We found out that actually, yes, I really wanted to mention this. There is a big bundle out there as a fundraising thing. I think I mentioned that they were putting something like this together last week, but there's this bundle for Ukraine that has like it's got like 991 items in it, including a lot of really good like indie titles. and they're asking for a minimum of $10, but they're saying, if you can donate more, that would be good.
Yeah.
They're splitting the donations between the International Medical Corps and Voices of Children, which is specifically for trying to help kids cope with shit like this. If you needed like a reason to do this, a lot of these are itch.io games, but like there's a lot of really good stuff in here. Just to name a few, there's Skatebird and Crosscode and Wandersong. A lot of these that we've seen on Rage Select. Super Hot is in there. Like Sundered is in there. Baba Is You is in there. There's a lot of I just sit here and read stuff off Celeste and Minute and
quite a few
Jotun and there's a lot of really, really good stuff in here. So if you're interested in, I actually thought about buying this and then just if they sent me codes, just giving the codes away, because these are all really solid games and I purchased a lot of them. Speed Dating for Ghosts is in here, which I think Amanda and I might have played at some point. Did you and I play Under Hero?
We played Under Hero, which we really liked Under Hero.
Under Hero was great. So there's a lot of really good stuff in here. This is on itch.io. If you just do itch.io bundle for Ukraine, you'll be able to find it. And it's not all games. There's also some board game stuff, and there's some apps and some books and stuff like that.
A lot of cool stuff.
It looks like they've already raised about $4.2 million. So
their goal is 5. So
they're looking to get to 5
on their way there.
Yeah. So, I would definitely recommend going and checking that out. Let's see. We had some EA news in this regard last week where FIFA basically kind of sanctioned the Russian teams in FIFA in general, and then EA reflected that in the team lineup in FIFA. At this point, though, they are also I had a little bit of shade to throw at EA because it seemed like they were more than able to hide behind the FIFA ruling as a reason to make FIFA the game match FIFA the organization.
Okay.
But they also announced this week that they are taking the most of the Russian teams and livery and stuff like that out of the game packs, out of the loot boxes that you can buy,
weird.
Which I'm like, whoa, oh shit, they're serious. They're taking the loot boxes out.
That's interesting.
So they are, let's see, let me see if I can find out where, player items, kit items, stadia and stadium items, Russian Manager League, consumable items, and manager items for the Russian Premier League. And you know what? I was really impressed by this. I like to give EA shit, but I also like to say when they do a thing that I think is good, because one of the other things that they're doing is locking the secondary market for these items at their existing price to make sure that because these things become scarce, that they can't then have the price go up and then have people profit from selling them because they're scarce. And I'm like, oh, that's good.
That's actually kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Legit surprised.
So, players who have already acquired the Russian items in question can keep them, EA Sports said, but their exchange prices on the transfer market will be fixed to prevent any profiteering off their newfound scarcity. So,
that was a good move.
Yeah. It's good stuff. And actually, that leads into the fact that EA, like a lot of other companies that we're going to be talking about, has just stopped all sales in Russia and Belarus.
Weren't they the ones that were saying this? They're the ones who have the Sims, right?
Yeah,
the whole marriage thing.
Yes. See, that's why I threw a little shade at them, because they were like, we're fucking friends of LGBTQ people, so we're not going to put this out in Russia. And then it seemed like somebody in Russia was like, we're not going to censor the game. You can put it out here. And they were just like, we've heard the outcry from all of our fans in Russia who wanted to play this, so we're putting this out in Russia. And it was like, okay, which one is it, guys? Is it the moral stance because being gay is illegal in Russia, or is it we knew that we could not put it out there and then gain some brownie points on the internet for looking real good, in addition to not having to do the work to strip out the content that country was going to find objectionable in the first place. But
exactly.
In any case, yes, they have completely suspended sales of games and content, including virtual currency bundles in Russia and Belarus while this continues. And this has been happening with a lot of companies. We're going to go over a few of them. The one that was actually really interesting that I thought was kind of goes to show you just the mindset is, I don't know if you saw this, Michael, but Advance Wars 1 and 2 for the Switch has been indefinitely delayed.
I heard about this, yes.
Because they're like, Advance Wars 1 and 2 is a game about like a neighboring country that invades with their military, and then you scrappy defenders have to like fight back this evil invading power. And they're just like, yeah, maybe just not right now. Maybe not right now. Like,
somebody brought up the fact that one of the Advance Wars games came out on September 10th in 2001.
oh,
And I was just like, you guys have real bad luck.
yeah. So yeah, they basically just said they've delayed it, and it is indefinitely. Like, they have it hasn't been pushed back.
They don't know when. They don't have a good idea when it'll come back out.
Now, as far as when it comes to Nintendo, they put out an update. Basically, they were asked if they were going to condemn the Russian activity or whatever. They said, while we have nothing to announce on this topic, we would like to express our concern for those affected by the conflict. This is some typical like wishy-washy, like Nintendo doesn't make grand sweeping statements about just like, oh, fuck your mother. No, fuck your mother. Like, Nintendo doesn't do that kind of shit.
It's a weird thing to ask Nintendo of all people.
Right.
It's not like, yeah, we personally sent Super Mario down there to fight to the death or some shit. Like,
right.
No, they're just like, it sucks what's happening, but we're not going to like.
I mean, we're
Nintendo. We're not a fucking country.
look at the way that Nintendo does their announcement videos, where they have just like these people. Like I don't know if all the people in Nintendo Directs are like normal people when the camera's not on them, but they're just like, okay, act like a fucking mannequin that just came to life and doesn't know exactly how humans operate. They're just like, well, what did you think? That was fun. Let's look at something else. Snap, and it's like, what the fuck?
It's the age-old thing where they're like, heads of companies are not actors,
right?
They're just, so you put them in front of the camera, and they get very stiff very fast.
Or like, but they have to be told. They must be told, because they had a few of those Nintendo's Directs where they didn't have people. You never saw anybody, but they had just like voiceovers, and they were obviously English voiceovers. But the people on there, they sounded like they were hosting fucking classical radio. They were just like,
those guys talk. Yeah.
Oh, Cindy, I can't wait to play that new Advance Wars game when it comes out this fall. Really, Jim? Because I was thinking about this next game. Click, and it's like, why? Show some enthusiasm. Like last week,
it's strange. Yeah,
they had the Pokemon announcement, and they had this guy that was dressed. He had this kind of goofy outfit, this like goofy sweater and the shirt with those little Pikachu's on, and an animated Pikachu behind him. And he was just like, now for more announcements from the Pokemon Company, it's me, Pokemon Guy. Let's see what's new in Pokemon Go this week. So yeah. Anyway,
after Iwata died, everything went weird.
Yeah, I mean, say what you will about Reggie, but like Reggie was a stark raving lunatic compared to everybody else in Nintendo.
I loved Reggie when he was on those things. He's great. That man had so many memes about him.
I feel like Doug Bowser came in and they saw him do that one, and they were just like, "That's too much emotion, man. That's too much. If I can get that Bowser guy out of here." Like, anyway, sorry that we're in the middle of a very serious topic,
yes.
But we're taking a thing.
We're comedy. We do comedy things.
True.
We're going to joke about things.
True.
Like chili dogs.
Also, Nintendo has stopped all shipments of new products to Russia, but for logistical reasons.
That's probably a good move on their part.
Like, yeah. So they don't. They said that they probably are not going to see any shipments for the foreseeable future due to the volatility surrounding logistics of shipping and distributing physical goods. Like, probably trucks full of Switches are not like the first priority at this point.
No.
So
as somebody who does support for freight, that area is a crazy place.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Let's see. Next up, Cyberpunk 2077. We can't do a single podcast.
What did they do this time?
Okay, so Cyberpunk 2077 is by CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red is located in Poland. Poland is right on the border of Ukraine. Cyberpunk 2077. They came out. What was this on? I don't remember when they came out, but they basically just said like they were going to donate like a couple $100,000 to this Polish humanitarian aid, and they said they posted the statement like, we cannot remain indifferent in the face of such injustice, and we ask everyone to join in and help in any way you can. Together we can make a huge difference. And like, people started review bombing CD Projekt Red on Steam for like, how dare you? I don't want politics from my video game companies, and a lot of this seems to be like people from Russia, like not like salty gamer boys from Colorado.
That's interesting. That's a different one. That's a different kind of take. But,
yeah. Like here's one of the what are CDPR's leaders thinking about? This war is none of your business, idiot. If you stand with Ukraine and Ukraine Nazis, then I go support Russia.
That propaganda is pretty strong.
Yeah. So there's some other ones talking about like, I wish CDPR bankruptcy and you guys all laid off ASAP to be acquired by Tencent. I stand with Putin.
I wonder how many of these are real.
Yeah. So there was a dip. Steam did that thing. One of the things I do like that Steam does is that, when there's a giant reaction downvote campaign, they like adjust the overall overwhelmingly positive, mostly positive. They adjust it to like the pre-bomb thing, and they put a note saying like, hey, something fucking happened. Like they show the timeline and then you see the big red down thing on it. So, but I mean, like, of all the people in the world to be concerned about what happens to Ukraine, I think the developer that lives in the country that's right fucking next to them is like more legit.
Yeah, they have much more to say about it than most places do. Like say Nintendo.
Yeah. Like Nintendo doesn't have to worry about what's going to happen.
No, they don't.
Electronic Arts is not about to fall to Russian tanks that are out of gas, but like but Poland
is
also
right
Poland
there.
Right, like Poland has some history.
They're paranoid.
Let's not get into it too far.
It's hard not to make them
Poland.
paranoid, but yes.
Let's see, in other news, Twitch is not paying out anything to any Russian streamers anymore, so
that's interesting.
Yeah. They basically, in typical Twitch fashion, they didn't like announce anything. It's just people suddenly got this message saying payouts to financial institution associated with your Twitch account have been blocked as a result of sanctions. There's actually some speculation that I read online that said that like this is not Twitch making a statement or taking a stand in any way, shape, or form. This is just like, hey, you are not allowed to electronically transmit funds into Russia right now. And that, like,
all the ways that they probably are doing them, a lot of them are shut down.
Yeah, and most of them are shut down. And I think the last one for a while there was PayPal would still work, but then it was like PayPal's not.
Yeah, they shut down
either.
Too,
so
that and Visa and MasterCard, I think, turned off in that area too.
Mm-hmm.
There's not really a way to pay them, even if they wanted to be honest.
Yeah, so it's very possible that this is it's just part of the ongoing sanctions process, as opposed to Twitch having a specific morality stand, But all of this is kind of interesting because, and this brings up a really strange thing. It's not entirely game related, but it's close to being game related. Apparently, Russia, when faced with all this stuff, is basically looking at like passing a law. It's called the Priority Action Plan for Ensuring the Development of the Russian Economy and the Conditions of External Sanctions Pressure.
It's a long name.
That is, okay, so I'm going to summarize here. That basically like makes it legal to pirate software if that software is provided by an organization that is sanctioning Russia and there is no equivalent software that is made inside of Russia. Now, the result of this, like, I mean, obviously, if you think about that, like, just in those terms, right? Okay, if you can't buy FIFA, then technically you're allowed to fucking steal FIFA, right? Because you can't buy it because it's sanctioned, and there is no equivalent, like, Russian version of FIFA for you to buy.
From what I hear, the specific law is, like, even more than that.
Yeah.
It's straight up just, like, you are allowed to just use whatever IPs are from unfriendly countries, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know how much of that's true because I've seen that pop up a lot. So, but a lot of people were nervous about that. So, because one of the examples somebody gave was because McDonald's all shut down in those locations. People were like, technically, the U.S. government can just let those Russians reopen them and call themselves McDonald's because the IPs are from unfriendly countries.
Right.
Is apparently the idea. I don't know how true that is, but apparently that's what's going on.
Yeah. This article, this is from a Kotaku article talking about this, made a really good point that this probably has more to do with productivity software than anything else. Like if you're using like a Microsoft-based server type of thing, that you're like there's a lot of software in this world that is specific to one company, and it's
100%.
Especially when it comes to development and application software. So it's entirely possible that this might not be, the Russian government was like, oh no, our people will revolt if they can't play fucking FIFA. That it was more like, oh no, our businesses will crash if they can't, like if these cloud-based apps get turned off, that they can't just go fucking steal another copy of it because you got to have a spreadsheet software. Yeah. And if you're getting sanctioned by the companies that are, providing the spreadsheet software, that you're going to go steal it.
Exactly.
It will be, I think it's going to be really interesting to take a look at this and see how widespread it gets. And then, like, if this whole conflict is resolved, are they going to walk this back? Or, like, knowing the way that Russia acts, I mean, I'm just like reading news. I don't know anything. But it seems like, this would be the sort of thing where they would just leave in place, because who knows, the next time there's going to be sanctions, we don't want to have to go through this all over again.
Well, the tricky thing is a lot of these laws specifically are saying, hey, if you want to do business in Russia, your stuff is not safe.
Right.
Like no matter, like if you have an IP, you shouldn't probably do business with Russia, is the issue with a lot of what these are. Because like you said, they might not be rolled back at all for all we know.
Yeah.
And so companies have no incentive to do it. Because unlike China, who steals a shit ton of IPs from people all the fucking time.
Yeah.
The market share of Russia compared to China is much, much smaller.
Well, also, China makes you sign a contract that says they're allowed to steal your shit in order to do business there.
Well, the main reason is that they make more money. They make more money off of China than they would Russia.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So it's like the good outweighs the bad, to them at least, in China.
Yeah.
It won't do that in Russia.
Yes.
So it's like, this is a whole thing that's just going to cause so many issues for years to come that we can't even fathom yet.
I have absolutely no idea. I at this point, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I was just playing Elden Ring and watching horny anime and trying to like not think about stuff too hard, because
that's the thing. Yeah,
you can get up in your head and get all freaked out, but like, there's very little that Jeff from Rage Select can do outside of say, I think you should go buy that pack of wonderful games and give some money to the charities that like deal with the children that have to that are being fucked up by this whole thing.
We're not the people we should listen to when it comes to the conflict of what's going on.
Yes.
Unless it involves chili dogs. But even then, you probably shouldn't listen to us either.
Yes.
I keep bringing up chili dogs.
You seem hungry. I don't know.
I'm a little hungry.
Microsoft also has just completely stopped selling everything in Russia. So
basically everyone has stopped selling.
Basically everybody has.
If they exist in America, they've basically stopped selling.
I believe Ubisoft has as well. Epic Games shut down.
I can't think of a single
store.
thing that hasn't shut down.
I don't know if Steam is still.
They even pulled back Sonic the Hedgehog 2 from the fucking Russia.
I don't know. I haven't seen a story saying Steam shut down.
I haven't heard of one, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their payment stuff probably wouldn't work either.
And Sony also did. So PlayStation also did. So, yeah, pretty much everybody's shutting it down. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I use with the bad QWERTY fingers to see what happens. I'd rather just know. I'd rather just not. I sit around a lot of these days, Michael, being like, remember 2015? Like
2015 was a nice year.
Like, I know that 2015 was fucked up for a whole bunch of other reasons, but they were so much less bad reasons.
Well, the reasons were they were hopeful reasons.
Yeah.
The Back to the Future's time frame was coming up, and we were all very hopeful that hoverboards would become a thing.
Yeah.
Instead, we got a lot of shit after that point, and it was a terrible time.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, okay. All right, we're done with the Ukraine, but we're not out of the heavy zone yet.
Every time I hear the Ukraine, I think of that episode of Seinfeld where they play Risk. You want to talk about episode about?
Yes.
Because it ends with the Ukrainian guy taking out the board.
Yeah. But we're not out of the woods yet, because we have lawsuits to deal
Yay.
with. Lawsuits and controversy.
All the lawsuits.
So a little while back, we had a story about a woman who brought up a lawsuit against Sony Interactive, or no, just Sony in general. So PlayStation, basically saying there was pay disparity, she was treated badly, she was marginalized, denied advancement opportunities, etc., etc., etc. I don't say et cetera, et cetera, et cetera to make it sound like boring. It's just we know we know what we're talking about, right? Company is shitty to women.
Yada, yada, yada. You know the whole thing.
Right.
We didn't yada, yada over the best part, by the way.
Yes. I mentioned the bisque. They were just about to basically reach the finality of the case. Like the case has to be finalized by a certain point, and right before that happened, 8 more women have come forward to kind of basically co-sign this whole thing and get into this lawsuit. There's not a lot more to say at this point, outside of, well, actually, no, that's not true. There's one person we now have a name for the original person, and I'm not going to say it because the only people who really know. But in any case, there were some more specifics that we found out about. This is God, man, I hate this shit so much. Ranking the women in the office by hotness, passing around filthy jokes and images of women. An engineer asked this lady not to wear skirts to work because it was distracting him. Apparently, the dude engineers like to go to the strip club at lunch and like shared porno and stuff with each other.
What is it with people going to strip clubs in the middle of lunch? What the fuck is wrong with you people?
Man,
the glitter alone.
I don't know. Here's the thing. The thing is
it the buffet? Does strip clubs have good buffets? Is that a thing?
Here's the thing, man. I can't answer this question because I was raised to be a neurotic fucking conservative. So the idea of letting a drop of alcohol pass my lips when I am quote unquote on the clock is like horrifying to me. Like the idea that you would go do a business deal and then be like, hey, you want a martini? Like Mad Men or whatever, and be like, no. All my faculties must be clear for this.
Exactly.
I have no time for drunken horniness. This is work. I do my drunken horniness at home when it is not work time. But I've come to realize that there are a lot of people in this world that do not ascribe to my buttoned up, don't fucking touch people, don't fucking, I can't imagine taking my work email and being like, hey, Johnson, check out the rack on fucking Emma Thompson at the fucking Golden Globes.
I don't understand.
But apparently that's just fucking de rigueur, par for the course. Like that's a thing that dudes do, and I'm just an uptight freako because we just
get it.
I mean, the upside to it is that I don't have any dark skeletons waiting in my past of that time that I grabbed some woman's ass at work.
The darkest skeleton I have is that I told somebody happy birthday after they said something very dark, and it was one of the darkest things I've ever done in my life because of how it played out.
Yeah.
I will tell that story one of these days if anybody ever asks me. But yes, and even then it wasn't that dark.
But the strip clubs during lunch thing, I was reading this article and it was in the comments. People were like, "What's wrong with going to a strip club during lunch?" And it's like, well, if you've ever worked for a company before, you know that a lot of times a whole team will go, there'll be the lunch group of people that do stuff where it's you and your boss and your buddy from the other department, and then a lot of times that friendship can lead to you getting advancement, and the people who are not invited to go out with the group do not get the same advancement. And so the idea then is that if those women want to get advancement, they need to fucking go to the strip club for lunch with the dudes that pretend like they're not. Why are we eating around titties? Why?
It's such a weird fucking concept.
Why am I eating a steak and there's just titties right there?
I don't get it, guys. I don't.
I don't want
in the middle of work.
I don't want my club sandwich this close to fucking vaginas, ass cheeks.
Things go horribly wrong that way.
Yeah. There was another incident where apparently they asked for a private lactation room after having twins, and they were giving a storage room with a broken lock directly off the lobby of the building. There's a
so dumb.
It's just, I don't know, man. To me, this shit just seems like there was a whole time period where people were allowed to just behave in a really atrocious fashion, and now people are like, oh, okay, well, now I want money for that. I tried to speak up, and then you were like, oh, she's a bitch, and then I never got advance. I never got any advancement, and
That's the
now I
thing.
can like take you to court and sue you for it.
The thing
So,
is that, like, until fairly recently, most people assumed that was only a relic of the past, of the 50s, 60s, 70s era, maybe part of the 80s. So people just assumed that it had ended at that point.
yeah.
But no, it's very much still a thing for a lot of companies, and their HR departments are not doing anything about them.
If people thought that shit ended in the 70s, they needed like I was almost an adult in the 90s, and I gotta tell you that no, that was not the case. Like
No, it was
90s was
even,
fucking crazy.
It's even during when I entered the workforce, it was still pretty out there.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here. Not to be outdone, Activision Blizzard is getting sued. This is actually
They keep holding their beer, man. Shit.
this is a really dark story. We actually heard about this before, that there was
This is one of the first really dark things to come out of this stuff.
during the original lawsuit that came out, where there was a female employee that was kind of humiliated and was maybe having a relationship with a person in upper management, and in a company retreat they killed themselves.
Yeah.
And so it's turning out that like this was part of the California Department or Housing and Fair Employment, whatever, the DFEEH or whatever that is, but it turns out that the parents of this woman are directly suing Activision Blizzard for damages, as opposed to having this incident kind of lumped in with the rest of the complaint that's going on. I mean, this is the one where apparently, like,
They were an accountant. Jesus.
apparently a picture of this woman's junk was like shared around at a holiday party and stuff.
The
It's
fuck,
just like,
guys. Again, what the absolute fuck?
I don't know. It does not make any sense to me whatsoever, because I'm just not wired that way, man. Like,
I'm
it's
not.
just,
Yeah. I don't fucking get it. I don't understand it.
so anyway, we'll see what happens there. Okay, let's move on to something that's bad, but not like this bad. Michael, do you know about this company, Artesian Builds? Have you heard the saga?
Oh,
of
I heard
Artesian
about that. I
Builds?
actually did hear about this because I saw the tweet thread
Yeah.
that had happened for all this.
So a few weeks back, this was like a boutique PC maker that what their gimmick is that they built all their shit on Twitch. They live streamed them building the computers before they sent them out.
Yeah.
But they had this partnership program where people would get like codes for use my code to get a 10% discount at fucking on a mouse when you buy a $2,000 computer. And they had this, the people that were their ambassadors had this giveaway, but what they didn't tell them was that they're like, this streamer won, and then the company president was like, no, we haven't had a single click through on your things, and you don't have enough followers, and you need to like work harder, and you don't have enough people watching you on Twitch. And everyone's like, wait, that's not how this is. Well, apparently this was how it worked in the fine print, but it's definitely not in the spirit
It doesn't really
of the thing.
say what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even in the fine print, apparently it's kind of like deep into it.
Yeah. So they got absolutely dragged on Twitter.
They got fucking annihilated on Twitter.
Yeah.
Everyone fucking shat on these people.
Yeah, the streamer's name was Kia. They went and Kia Pia. They went and contacted whoever, I don't know, and they were like,
she, yeah.
"Hey, we fucked up. Do you want? You can have
She
this."
told them fuck no.
And she was like, "No, go fuck yourself."
She's like, fuck you guys.
Because she came out and basically kind of broke the story. Well, that company is going out of business.
Of course they are, because fuck them.
Now, it does not appear that they are going out of business because this happened.
It didn't help, this is the thing.
Yeah, like no company couldn't. If your company couldn't withstand like a week of being dragged on Twitter, that's one thing. But like apparently they're based in San Francisco, and like California pulled their business license.
Oh
and,
my
like,
God.
There was a bunch of other shit that was happening behind the scenes. Apparently there was a bunch of money that may have been taken out by one of the people that worked there in the higher ups. Apparently at one point management told them like, if people feel like they want a refund, just don't give it. Say no to a refund. We're not giving you back
They
your
had
money,
no
type
money.
of thing. So it seems like they were kind of on the edge of crumbling anyway. and then they had one really bad day, and
They probably wanted this last. This might have been the last PC giveaway for all we know.
yeah.
And they wanted it to go to like somebody big, and then this happened, and they're like, "Oh, we can't just say that's why."
Right. Or it's entirely possible that one of the higher ups of the company was just like, dude, fuck this place, and just drained a bunch of money out of the bank account and fucking disappeared into the night.
That's
like,
probably well, that still happened. I'm just saying that this last thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was. Yeah, I remember seeing it. I saw a lot of the stuff live on Twitter. And I was like, "Oh fuck! This place has found they have chose violence today.
Yeah, it was no good. Like, you should not.
Completely fucked.
You shouldn't do that.
Don't fucking do that to people."
Let's see. I think we're finally getting out of the heavy zone, and we're going to end up with NBA 2K is getting sued. So Take-Two Interactive is getting sued by some Illinois parents who let's all take a guess at what happened. Why parents would be suing the company that made, remember the trailers for NBA 2K where it was literally like
Slot
fucking
machine.
celebrities pulling slot machines and just like it looked like a casino game and not a basketball game.
It was fucked.
Yeah, they're basically saying that the payment scheme in NBA 2K where it's like you have to buy the thing. They're basically saying that like the payment scheme is too far removed from the using the money to buy stuff in a way to basically make it so that children can't understand that they're spending money. That like the two are so far apart. Because it's not like when you go to buy a loot box in one of these games, it's like, that will be $5, please.
Yeah. It's always like, this will be 100 schmackadoos or whatever that you can get for like $10.
Right.
But they don't see that part of it.
But then they also do that thing where when you're going to go buy the Smackaboos, like they make the $100 option really bright and really colorful.
It's
like,
super colorful.
Oh, you get like 50 million more Smackadoos if you buy this one.
It's like, you want it, bro.
Yeah. So I don't think that anything will come of this because apparently we've decided we don't care.
Well, these places have been sued a bunch of times for these things.
Yeah.
And they've always been able to shoot away enough.
Yeah.
But one of these days, one of them might stick, but who knows? I doubt this one will stick, to be honest.
Yep. I'm so torn because on the one hand, it's like I would really like legislators to make some inroads on this in like the political system that I live in, but on the other hand, their rationale for making inroads is not like to protect consumer freedoms. It's like the children, ban it all because the children, and I'm like, no.
That's the issue, is that once they start actually doing their legislation, is that they never stop where you want them to.
Yeah,
they're always just like, now we got to take out the titties and the blood and the and the black people. Wait, what was that last part? The children. It was for the children. It's like, you guys are fucking crazy. Stop it.
Yeah. Okay, speaking of microtransactions, Overwatch 2 is getting a closed PvP beta in April.
Oh, yes, Overwatch 2 is still a thing.
Yeah. Closed alpha testing is going to begin today, and then in late beta, the first PvP and PC beta testing is going to be available in select regions. This will have 5v5, the new hero Sojourn, 4 new maps, push mode, hero reworks, and a new ping system, etc., etc., etc. Does anybody still give a shit about Overwatch 2?
I don't know if anyone cares about any of these companies.
Yeah. I don't know. Overwatch 2 has been like, dude, you guys need like a flashy trailer.
I haven't seen anything about it in a long time. Like them being like, we're doing a beta in April. I'm like, for what? No one knows what this game is at this point.
I mean, to be honest, like I've been on this very podcast being like Jeff Kaplan left Blizzard, and you don't just like shove a new guy out there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You have to like really restructure and figure out how you're going to do stuff. Same is true of Diablo and the rest of them. But
this whole thing's crazy.
If you're interested, late April, we're going to be seeing some PvP. Battlefield 2042 has a scoreboard.
Oh my god.
Finally. It's only been 4 months since it launched, and it finally has a scoreboard.
Fucking Christ, you can look at 4 months.
How was this not done sooner? There's also some fixes for crashing and a few more updates, but the big thing right now is that it does have a scoreboard. Still no voice chat. Still no voice comms.
Ask about that.
Nope. No voice comms. It took them 4 months to put a... Look, man, I'm not trying to be a dick about this, but like a scoreboard has to be the easiest fucking. You know they're counting kills and deaths,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know they're counting that stuff. How fucking hard is it to put those numbers next to a person's name on a thing on a black screen that comes up? Like, I feel like you could have done this in a day. Like, you could have just been like, Jenkins, fucking make the scoreboard. Is it done yet? I asked you 45 minutes ago. Why is it not done yet? Like,
Apparently, whatever they did to make a scoreboard was damn near impossible. For 4
apparently,
months.
yeah.
Every time they added it, somebody's head exploded, I guess. I
Too
don't know.
bad nobody's ever made a scoreboard before, and they could just copy.
It's never been done, Jeff.
I know.
It's never been done.
I know. Speaking of updates, Horizon Forbidden West got an update that makes some minor improvements, but the biggest thing is that it improves the photo mode. You know, the super important thing.
Yes, the thing that they accidentally discovered titties with.
Right.
That was an interesting story.
Oh, yes.
Well, did you tell that story?
I didn't. But somebody in the Discord, I think, showed like some of the screenshots where some of the outfits, if you zoom around, and it's just like, why are there nipples in this game?
Yeah,
Like,
apparently that's part of the patch. I don't know if it was this patch, but one of the patches took it out.
who the fuck put nipples in this game?
Somebody thought it was a good idea to put nipples in alloy.
Why would you even put nipples on a character? Why would you put any genitalia on a character? They should look like Barbie dolls, right? When you take their
There's
shit
no real
off.
reason to do that. Like, really. Like, you think that people would learn their lesson after what happened, what was it, Beyond Two Souls?
Oh, yes.
When they, when they did
Yeah.
that for Ellen.
Yeah.
Or, what's their name now? Elliot Page's
Yes.
character model.
Yes. It was.
That was a whole fucking thing.
Yeah. Anyway. Let's see. There's still a little bit of people are still kind of reporting the kind of like some of the shimmering, sharpening, weird artifacting stuff. I finally got to the point where I think I got enough settings set the right way that I kind of was able to ignore it, but it doesn't matter because I still have fucking 6,000 hours of Elden Ring left to play before I can go back to Horizon, and by the time that happens, something else is going to be fucking out. That Stranger of Paradise is going to be out.
I keep forgetting that it's Strangers of Paradise.
Yeah, poor Horizon.
Yeah, this poor guy. Oh, they were still one of the biggest anticipated titles.
Yeah.
So they're still doing well as far as I know.
Let's see. In other PlayStation news, Sony has done some very small updates to the PS5 controller. There's a YouTube video from Tronics Fix where they disassembled the PS5 DualSense controller with the new ice blue, purple, and pink ones, and they found two significant changes. One is certain plastic brackets on the analog sticks have been changed in which plastics are there, which they're hoping is going to cut down on any potential controller drift moving forward.
Okay.
The other one is that the spring that controls the triggers has been widened by 0.5 millimeters, or is 0.5 millimeters thicker than it was before. It was 0.25 millimeters before. It's 0.3 millimeters now, which means that it's probably less likely to break, right? Stronger spring means more pulls.
There's quite a few stories of some of those breaking for people early on. So
Yeah.
mine never did, likely.
I haven't had a problem with my controllers, but it's worth pointing out. So let's see. We're not done with PlayStation just yet because we got a kind of a, I don't know. It was kind of an interesting story about like, okay, so this is kind of a weird double-edged story. Gran Turismo 7 came out, all right? And you buy the cars in Gran Turismo 7 with credits. And credits can be purchased for real-world money on the PlayStation Store for like, what? It's $2.50 for 100,000 credits or $20 for 2 million credits. But the thing is that, like, okay, $20 for 2 million credits, but there's like one of the cars on the store is like the Porsche 919 Hybrid 16 runs you 3 million credits. So in order to get that many credits, you would have to spend $40 in real world money to be able to have enough credits to buy the car.
Yeah.
There's actually some cars in here that cost like way more than that. Like the 1929 Mercedes-Benz S Barker Tourer is 20 million credits, which
God.
would be like $200 in real world money.
That's ridiculous.
So, but then I went to the comment section and some people were pointing out that they were like, you know, you could just do like, there's like a 4-minute race that you could just grind that gives you like 500,000 credits, and it's like 4 minutes long, so you could literally make millions of credits. Like as we get high enough up into the game, like it's a normal progression thing, right? Like the further you get into the game, the higher the profile of the races, the more credits you get per race, because you can also get this same currency in the game. So I'm kind of torn about this, because it's almost like, well, do you want to buy these cars with real world money? Then they're going to cost a lot of fucking money, or you can just play the game the way that we fucking intended and get the cars the way that we intended.
Well, this is what I like about the specific thing is that this is more like it's aimed for the people who are so, or not gullibles. The gullible is not the word I'm looking for, but people who are just like, I don't feel like
I don't want to play
grinding.
the game that I bought to play.
Well, they don't feel like grinding,
right?
Kind of thing. They're just like, well, I only have like 3 hours to play, and I don't have like all the time to grind that much credits. But I really want this car. But if they're crazy enough to spend that much money on it, then fine, I guess. But the fact that there's an easy way of getting it in game, like, is the reason I have no issue with that.
Yeah, me too. I mean, like, I don't really understand that mindset where it's just like, I don't have time to play this video game, so I want to buy my way to being able to play this video game. And it's like, because at the end of the day, you're like, I don't have time to drive enough to get this car to drive. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, if the game is good and you want to play it, then it should be fine to play it.
It makes sense to me depending on how easy it is to get the credit.
Yeah.
Because I could have easily, or not easily, I could have played Street Fighter V a shit ton to buy the characters using the fight money in the game.
But that was
really difficult to
really
get the money,
difficult, yeah.
kind of thing. Where this is like the complete opposite of that.
It's like this game is actually tuned to let you do this, to get you to the point where you're going to be able to get this stuff if you just play the game.
That's the surprising thing, because usually when a story is like that, it's still like, oh, but the way you get these credits is like you have to play for 5 hours to get like 100,000 credits or something.
Right.
But they're like, no, for four minutes you can get 500,000, and then you can just keep doing that over and over again.
By the way,
for
also
like an hour you could get plenty of fucking credits.
That's just the comment section on VG 24/7, so like take it with a grain of salt. But that to me lines up with the previous Gran Turismo games, where it was like, oh, I want a car, so I'm going to get my fastest car. I'm going to enter a race that I know I can win every time. I'm just going to thrash it, and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to fucking put on a YouTube video, play this race 18 times, and then go buy the fucking cool car that I want. The end. Like, there's plenty of video games that are like that. So
yeah, I'm always glad when the credits are easy to get. It's when they're really difficult to get that I'm more annoyed by.
Yeah. Well, speaking of credits and real world money, this is the weirdest acquisition this year so far, but Atari bought Moby Games for $1.5 million.
I don't know what that means.
So Moby Games is kind of an IMDb for video games, where you can go there, especially for older games, where you can go there and you can you can click on a game, and it'll give you like when it came out, what the description is, some old screenshots, some categories that it's in, critic reviews of the time. A lot of times it'll have like credits and like the ad copy and stuff, and especially good for older games. So, and this was just like created by some dudes who saw that like, oh, this doesn't exist and we think that it should. And apparently it's changed hands a few times over the course of its life, but it's basically about the closest thing that you get to something like IMDb for video games.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And Atari bought it. I don't know why.
But why? Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, understand.
It's possible that they want to, I don't know, because they're also keeping like all the people who run it right now. They're keeping the staff the same. They're
what
not
was
like
the statement on it? I assume they came out with a statement.
It was like the Moby Games community has played sustained an important role in the documentation, celebration, and preservation of video games, and supporting Moby Games allows us to give back to the community and contribute to its growth and success. This is a CEO of Atari. It's important to Atari that Moby Games retains every bit of its integrity, and we're committed to supporting the site in ways that improve the experience for contributors and users. I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, it still doesn't explain why you did this.
It doesn't really say anything.
What did you get out of this?
I don't know.
Is it that you're just going to put only Atari games on? I don't understand.
Well, the thing is that they at one point it was bought by GameFly, and GameFly made a bunch of changes, and people hated it. So then it was bought by another company that reverted all the changes. So it's like if
That's so weird.
Fucking Warner Brothers bought IMDb and deleted every movie that wasn't a Warner Brothers movie, people would stop using IMDb, right?
Yeah.
So like you can't fuck with it that much. Like
I don't really see what they're getting out of it. Is it like ad stuff, ad money? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I really don't know.
I don't understand.
Speaking of things that I don't understand why people gotta be mean to Elden Ring. There was a thing that happened over the weekend where some developers from Guerrilla Games and Ubisoft and a few other places, like one of these people put out this tweet, I think it's been deleted, that was like, the fact that hashtag Elden Ring scored a 97 Metacritic is proof that reviewers don't give a flaming poop about game UX. My life is a lie. And then somebody else chimed in and said, nor PC graphics stability and performance apparently. Somebody else saying, nor quest design really. And then this was like kind of responded to by this screenshot that I absolutely love. That's like, what if Ubisoft made the UX for
Jesus Christ!
Elden
Yeah, I
Ring?
see this picture.
And they put all these like, oh, here's your quest log, and here's like a list of your abilities, and there's this subtitle of like, maybe I should investigate that cave and press X to use tarnish sense, and like all these question marks on the map. This is stupid.
It is.
This is
pretty
stupid. Like the idea. Well, it got me thinking in a certain way about the idea that like there's a difference between like I talked about this last week with Amanda, where one of the things that I think is very special about Elden Ring that modern games haven't done is that we've gone through this like weird like cycle where games started and they had a map and the map was very minimal, and then as games got more sophisticated, they started putting more markers on the map, and then they just made it so the map has like 1 billion markers on it.
Yeah.
The thing is that if you were to look at the Elden Ring map and there was a marker on the map for everything that's on the map, it would look like a Ubisoft game. It's full of stuff, full of crazy stuff to do. But allowing the player to figure that out on their own instead of putting a thing that like you then feel like you need to go look at it and check it off the list and go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, like makes it special, because instead of feeling like somebody told you what to do and you did it, you were like, oh, I found the cave. Like, oh, what's in this cave? I'll go exploring. Oh, look, it's a dungeon. Oh, look, there's a boss. Oh, look, I beat that boss. And somehow psychologically, it's a lot more rewarding than having a fucking checklist of things that you need to do and checking them off one at a time, as opposed to just wandering around and being like, I looked at the map and I found this little square thing and that looks like a building. Maybe I should go over there and see if that's a building. Oh, it's a building. Oh, it's got a cool piece of armor in it. Cool.
It's that old thing about old games that we used to have all the time, where it was like the original Zelda games. You'd be like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
And then you just sort of wander around, and then you find it, and it's really cool that you found it on your own. Like for the most part. Like, I didn't beat the original Legend of Zelda for years because I had no fucking idea what I was supposed to be doing.
Oh, yeah. Really obscure clues.
Yeah, exactly. Same with Castlevania 2. Like, it's like, I don't fucking know what's going on.
But it's interesting. I mean, not to extrapolate too much, because these are probably just some offhand people's tweets that then got picked up by the ravenous fucking rabid community of Elden Ring people.
They're just joking. It's pretty obvious they're just joking.
But the idea that, like, all games need to have this really intrusive... You know what I really like about Elden Ring is the fact that, like, when you're just running around in the world and you're not in combat, the game just fucking takes the UI off the screen, and so you just have a screen where you're just looking at this world, and you don't have anything in your peripheral vision. You're just looking around at the world, and it's really immersive that way. I wish more games did that.
I'm a big fan of minimum UIs.
Yeah.
That's why I'm such a big fan of the Ghostbusters game, because they put your health onto the pack itself.
Oh yeah. Like in Dead Space, the way that they put it on Isaac's armor.
I love that. I love that when games do that, because it makes it that much more immersive, because you're not seeing like health on the top and how much ammo you have on the top or something kind of thing.
I really liked what Grand Theft Auto 5 put like everything around the map. It put like your health and stuff all around the map.
Which is also kind of neat.
So, yeah. Anywho, in other Elden Ring news, if you're playing Elden Ring on the PC, be very careful. There has apparently been a problem where your game doesn't get uploaded to the cloud, and then you go to launch the game, and it says, "Do you want to use the local or the cloud version?" And people instinctively click the cloud version, and it's like several hours back version of your save game.
That sucks.
So yeah, this is not entirely fixed yet. So like, just don't be careful when you launch. Check the times and check the files and make sure that you choose the right thing. Because
poor Steam bastards.
I guess in a certain way, it's just if you get it wrong, you're just going to have to do some practice. You're going to have to redo some stuff. Oh no! Quit making me play this game that I'm playing for fun that I like, that is fun.
Oh no.
And then also we had some rumors that there's going to be some DLC in Elden Ring. There are a couple of big Colosseums in the world of Elden Ring, but none of them are able to be gotten into.
Oh, and you can't do anything with them.
Yeah, and so people have kind of decoupled their camera and gone kind of zooming around inside of them, and what they found, what seems like a fully created area. They don't have any lighting, so they're very difficult to see anything.
Yeah,
but they seem like a full area with stuff in them, so there's a good chance that this might end up being like PvP arenas once we get the servers stabilized and we're going to open them up, or potentially a full DLC coming later on. I mean, every single Souls game except for Sekiro has had full story DLC. I would be shocked if Elden Ring did not have some kind of story DLC.
It's going to absolutely have to, or not have to. It's going to absolutely get something because this game is massive.
Yeah,
and there's plenty to work with here.
Yes. Also, I like the idea that there's a bunch of stadium seating in this Coliseum. I don't like to do PvP, but I want to just watch other people do it.
That would be fun. Yeah, to have just a bunch of people staring at you.
Yeah. And next up. Actually, you know what, Michael? I just realized we're so late. We still have trailers and stuff to go through, so we're going to go super fast forward mode. It's time for super fast forward mode. Lost Ark is going to be giving lady characters some options that don't make them look like strippers.
Oh my God, that's never been done before.
All the lady characters in Lost Ark have very revealing clothing and high heels and stuff. They're not going to be taking that out, but they are going to be adding some slightly more covering clothes. No word yet on whether we're going to get. I don't know if you know this, but in Lost Ark, it's if you want to play a warrior, you have to play a dude. And if
Jesus!
There's some characters that have a male and female variant, but a lot of them are oh, do you want to be a mage? That's a lady character. Oh, do you want to be a fucking warrior? That's a dude character.
They should make more revealing clothes for them then.
Yes, I agree.
That's how you even.
Well, also, I don't know if you know this, but Tessa and I actually saw this. Do you see the walk cycle on these lady characters?
What the fuck?
And these swangy hips, just fucking bow, 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 bow.
That is fucking stupid. What the fuck?
Anyway, yeah. So that's we're getting some better clothes. The rest, who knows? It might be happening at some point. Let's see. I'm going to start cutting stuff. You can put Windows on the Steam Deck now.
Hooray! Question mark.
Valve put out drivers for the Steam Deck. There are three big caveats to that. One, the speakers do not function. If you're using Windows. If you're using Windows, you can get audio output via the USB-C cable or via Bluetooth speakers, but the internal speakers nor the headphone jack will work at this point. Given what Steam has done, it's not. I bet this is going to be fixed at some point. It's just they're just putting out early stuff, right, for early adopters.
Well, it's a super early system. There's bound to be some kinks that were not really designed in it originally.
Yes,
so that's going to be that because it's a PC. It's a tiny PC. This is all new territory for damn near everybody.
Yes, it will be supported eventually, but right now you also cannot dual boot. So you can only have either the SteamOS or Windows.
Oh, okay.
And then last but not least, Windows is not optimized for something like this the same way that the SteamOS is. So it's probably going to run worse. It's
going to eat up the battery much more.
Yeah. Yeah. You would need a specific version of Windows that was made to run on this thing.
Windows ME.
So
it's time for you to come back.
Yeah. Redeem yourself. Windows Vista. Right. we haven't talked about it on any of the shows, and we're going to talk about it really fast here. NVIDIA had a whole bunch of their shit stolen. This was a really silly story because the hackers that stole a bunch of their shit, their demands to NVIDIA were for them to unlock the limiter for crypto mining on the cards that they put on it.
Oh my God.
That was what they demanded. NVIDIA refused. This hacker group put out a bunch of NVIDIA things. One of the things that they put out were digital signatures for like driver installations for NVIDIA software, which are technically Windows signed, which means that technically hackers can use this to like so that when Windows sees one of these packages, it's like, oh, that's cool. That's from NVIDIA. Like, I can totally install that. I don't have to worry about it. So, like,
that's fucked.
Be careful. There will probably be a Windows patch within the next month or so to address this.
Absolutely.
But, like, yeah, in the meantime, be fucking careful because this is not something. They're outdated certificates, but they're still certificates. So, like, yeah, just. I mean, let's be honest here, man. Like, if you're installing some shit from a shady website, like if you're trying to download your telesync of the Batman and it wants you to install something before you can download your shady telesync of the Batman, don't install it,
don't
motherfucker.
Do it,
don't hit allow. Don't let it happen. Don't just go to a different place. Like, go steal your shit from somewhere else. Don't install anything ever.
Read the file name.
Yeah,
it should say .mp3, not .exe.
Yeah, or especially if it's like, you got to download this file manager to get your movie. You know, you're just installing viruses on your computer.
Yeah, 100%. You're just fucking being an idiot.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, trailers, real fast. We had 18 minutes of Ghostwire Tokyo. Did you watch any of this, Michael?
I did not get a chance to.
Okay.
I meant to.
It was interesting. This is from IGN, and it was interesting because it really made the game look like it's not a shooter, right? Like the amount, the speed at which you can kind of cast your spells is not like a machine gun, like
no.
So it's slower and it feels a little bit more like you got to be closer to the people that you're attacking. There is a bow and arrow that you can use. It was very interesting. It gave me a lot of like hope for the game. It's very strange looking though. Like, it still just is a very weird looking game. It's very unique and different from anything I've seen before. So, the enemies are still pretty cool. It seems like there's like a few different elements. I think we found this out in that last state of play that they did, but it looks good. It just looks very different. This has always been a very much a question mark of a game, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember there was a time frame where you were speculating if it was an on rails thing. And then because people just had no idea what to think of it.
Well, a lot of the early videos, they only show the characters like moving forward and backwards very slickly. Like
we had no idea what this game was really going to be like for a long ass time.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a cross between like BioShock and like Hexen or something like that.
Yeah, that would be a good way of describing it.
Because there's also some stealth parts early on where you can like crouch and sneak up on characters and then do like these one-hit kills. They show a little side mission about trying to lure a Kappa in and taking it out. So, yeah. We got the Kandarian Demon gameplay trailer for Evil Dead, which is like really not about the Kandarian Demon.
No, it is not at all. Which is why I was surprised. I was like, where is the Kandarian Demon? Because he doesn't ever really show it.
They show like right at the very beginning, right? It's like these guys, right? And they're like, yes, you can take control of some other players and absorb stuff. And it's like, okay. But then they just start talking about other stuff. So
they're just talking about everything else. And it's like, I got Bruce Campbell for like a day. So let's get him to just say a bunch of shit.
Yeah. It doesn't look half bad. Like, the game doesn't look half bad.
I'm actually looking forward to this game.
Yeah.
The more I see of it, the more I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have some fun with this.
I like the idea that when you can possess people, I like the idea you can possess like the trees. That was cool. And I love the tiny ashes jumping out of the box is a good thing.
You control the car and everything.
Yeah.
I do really like the level of things you can do in this game.
Yeah. It looks pretty cool. Also, you can play as, that big fat lady demon, which is pretty cool.
The one of the movies.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We also got a trailer for Dead by Daylight. Who are they adding to Dead by Daylight? Sadako from The Ring.
Okay, then. Sure.
Yeah. Which it seems to me, I don't know how that entirely is going to work, but I guess.
See, they have to force them to watch the tape, and then they have to wait 7 days.
Oh.
And then when they launch the game in 7 days, they randomly die.
Right. I mean, like, how do you pick the people up and then put them on the?
Fucking know, yeah.
Are you gonna see like Sadako picking up a teenager and putting him on a hook? Like
That would be kind of fun.
It's a little weird.
I'm curious as to how that works.
I like the fact that Dead by Daylight is just like, man, they've got everything. They got all the things.
They really have.
They got Pinhead and fucking Leatherface.
Like
and
even
all kinds
Ash
of
is in
stuff.
this game as a character model that you can use.
Oh yeah. Let's see. We got fuck that. I'm not going to talk about that one. We got from IGN again. We got 7 minutes of Star Trek Resurgence, which was that Star Trek narrative game being made by like ex Telltale people.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
It's very rough on the frame rate department, and some of the facial expressions are a little like meh, but it's got Spock talking to the main character. It appears that your main character is going to be like the first officer on like a ship.
Oh, okay.
And you're like the loose cannon. I don't know. Just tell me if she can do the Riker maneuver. That's all I care about. Is
if I was that tall, I would do the Riker maneuver all the time.
Probably why did he do that? Because like he fucked up his back or
Yeah,
something?
his back
Like-
had hurt real bad, so he couldn't sit down normally.
Have you seen that meme where it's like Jonathan Frakes watching this guy do like various stages of the Riker maneuver?
Oh no, I've not seen that.
It's pretty fun.
I found out there's a game. I think it's like a board game or something called the Jonathan Frakes Wants Your Attention, and the entire game is that you're trying your best not to like get his attention or something like that. It's fucking weird.
Anyway, this looks almost identical to a Telltale game. There's no moving around or anything. It's literally just a cutscene where you're choosing different options. It does seem like it's very much in the, this is supposed to be like post Next Generation, right?
Yeah.
It's not like in Discovery or the far flung future or anything, which is cool. I think a lot of people would like a narrative game based on Star Trek, based in this time period.
Yeah, this is the type of game that Star Trek was very much designed for.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like I don't mean that Star Trek was made for games, but you know what I mean.
No, yeah.
Like if you wanted a Star Trek game, this is the type of game that you would want more than like a shooter or something.
Right. The shooters always tend to be a thing. The main thing is just if they make enough branching pathways, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to feel like you have agency and not like you don't want to get into the Telltale Diamond where it's like, oh, you make all these decisions, but you always end up at the exact same place no matter what you do. So
This could be pretty exciting for Star Trek fans.
it is, like I said, it is a little rough around the edges, though. It definitely is going to need like.
It is in progress stuff. So
I like the lighting, though. The tech is very nice. So we'll see how it goes. If you're not into Star Trek, you might be into Star Wars. We got a little featurette, a little 5-minute Building the Galaxy Star Wars Skywalker Saga.
Is this thing still not out yet?
Nope, it's
Are you
supposed
serious?
to be out sometime soon.
This was out like ages ago.
Yeah, they talk a lot in here about a lot of different things, like the characters. If they're on the dirt planets, they get a little dirt on their little Lego
Yeah, that's
stuff.
kind of neat.
There's like a gajillion different. A gajillion different things. There's just kind of like putting all these Lego Star Wars games together, and they've kind of tweaked some of the older ones. I can't help but look at this and be like, God damn, this game looks. I wish this game wasn't Lego.
Yeah, that
Like, I
happens
would
all the time with these fucking licensed Lego games. You're like, man, these things look really fun, but they're also still Lego games.
Yeah, and I just don't want the Lego part of it.
Like the last Indiana Jones games that were like super fun were fucking Lego related,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of weird.
Yep. Let's see. Genesis Noir is getting an update. It's getting basically 3 new levels. It's called the Astronomy Update. Genesis Noir being the fucking weird, jazzy private detective, like you're solving the Big Bang as a noir murder, celestial noir murder mystery type of
Bazinga
thing.
indeed. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Fuck that show.
So, yep, that's coming out.
It does look really neat, though. I don't think I've ever heard about this one.
Oh, it was announced a long time ago. It came out last year. Amanda and I played it for. I think it's on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken.
No, maybe.
Might have
I had no idea.
It's
A lot of stuff comes out, guys.
available right now. Okay, listen, Tiny Tina's Wonderland's got a season pass trailer.
That was fast.
Yeah, the game isn't even out yet. 1, 2. Without the game being out, I can't tell how any of this is different from the base game.
Yeah, I don't really know what you expect me to know. It's like, look at all these DLC things. I'm like, cool, what does that...
Like, there's a
you
lot
could
of
have just left it in the game.
Skulls and spooky updates, and there's a new character, and there's all kinds of kind of semi-horror related stuff, but like, without having played the main game, I have no point of comparison to Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Kind of dumb to do that this early.
Also, there's new characters like an onion head, but they don't show anything or tell anything or explain why that's exciting or what anything is. So I don't know what you want out of me.
Yeah, you could have just, came out with that game normally.
I mean,
Sure.
game's out in like 2.5 weeks. So
Yeah, okay.
maybe announce this then after we've had a chance to play it for
give it like a month
seconds.
and then do it, Randy Pitchford.
Yeah.
I know you need money for cocaine, but you should have just waited.
This is Tiny Tina's Wonderland might be terrible, Michael, but you and I's favorite game of all time is getting an actual sequel.
What's that?
Well, it would be PC Building Simulator 2.
Oh shit! I thought you were gonna say Babylon Falls got a sequel already.
It's Internet Cafe Simulator 2. PC Building Simulator 2 is getting an update. It's actually being made by a different company than the original.
Oh.
Apparently, Epic Games got the rights to this franchise when they bought like another company. But yeah, this is adding in. It looks like a whole lot more RGB. A 13-hour campaign, apparently.
It looks a lot more intricate than what we did for that first one.
Yeah, I'm curious to know. Well, I mean, the problem that I kind of had with the first one was like, it was just like, oh, take out the screws, click, 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 click. I don't know what I want. I don't know what the good version of that is, because it was just like click on these 4 screws and then take it out. But I guess maybe since I know how to actually take a computer apart, like it's a little bit different.
Well, it's a slow start is really what it comes down to, is what those were.
Yeah,
but because you were doing very basic things,
fucking installing virus scanners and replacing hard drives and shit.
That's mostly what we did for that first 20-30 minutes.
Who did the liquid cooling and the RGBs, bro? Yeah, so PC Building Simulator 2 is coming, I believe it's sometime this year. Does it say? Yeah, 2022, Epic Game Store. So
cool.
Real fast, Aperture Desk Job has some. This is very complicated, so I'm not going to go into specifics, but it has some references to a potential sequel to Half-Life Alyx, as well as Counter-Strike 2, which apparently has been teased in a few other places.
You can go only up to 2, Jeff. That's all they can do. Once they get to 2, there's nothing else comes out.
That's true. That's true.
No.
You'll never get another Counter-Strike fans. But this is really just an excuse for me to say, hey, man, Aperture Desk Job is cool. You should go play it.
That is pretty cool.
Gotham Knights got a release date.
I keep forgetting this is a thing.
October 25th, Michael. The Batman is... Oh, no, wait. The Batman is dead.
He dies, yeah.
The
Batman
family.
dies.
We're just carping all the way back at the beginning of this podcast about why there aren't more things about the other people that are not Batman. And I'm like, but not these assholes. I don't care about playing this fucking Babylon's Fall clone with Bat people in it. Boo.
It could go either way, because it's still got the Arkham way of playing, so
yeah,
maybe it could be fun. I don't know.
It could be good. I mean, we're past that, right? We've kind of gone way past the place where people are fascinated, or like where the Arkham combat is like, ooh, shiny, new, I love it, right? Like,
yeah, but now it's in a multiplayer setting, Jeff. That makes it newer. They got a new hat, Jeff.
Okay, great. Forspoken got pushed back. We mentioned the release date already of October. It was supposed to be out originally in May, but now it's in October.
Oh, okay.
So, bada bing, bada boom. I should have switched those last 2 stories.
Comes out at the same time.
Yep. Speaking of months, in March, Lost Judgment is getting an add-on where you get to play as Kaito, the ex-Yakuza best buddy of the main character of Judgment. So
that's neat.
Apparently it's going to be like a 4 or 5 hour DLC. It's going to be $30, and you're actually going to get to play as his character. So there's going to be 2 new combat trees and a bunch of new bespoke kind of missions with Kaito. Kaito's rad. Everybody should go play at least the first Judgment, if not the sequel. Bada bing, bada boom. WWE 2K has their season pass. Actually, they have a roadmap for all the different packs of Razzlers they're going to be putting out.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not going to sit here and read all these to you because most of them I don't know who they are.
I don't know who any of these
sounds
people are
stupid.
for the most part.
I thought, though, isn't Cactus Jack, isn't that like a booze?
That sounds like one.
So in the Clowning Around pack in June 28th, Mr. T is there,
Ooh.
as well as Doink the Clown.
That sounds familiar.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, but it sounds familiar.
But here's the thing. There is one character in one pack that I think is a kind of a fascinating and good idea.
What's that one?
You didn't look very closely. Look closely at the banner image for this story, Michael. Which character from this banner image have I not mentioned that it would be fun to fucking choke slam off the top rail in a Razzlin game?
Oh my god, there's two of them.
Yeah. Well, it's fucking Logan Paul.
It's Logan Paul, but also Machine Gun Kelly in there too.
I don't know who Machine Gun Kelly is.
He's the guy who
This guy.
He's the one who's been dating Megan Fox lately.
Oh.
But they're like being really fucking weirdos kind of thing. Like he got her an engagement ring that like hurts you if you try taking it off or some shit.
What?
Like a lot of weird shit's going on with that relationship.
All right.
That you're just like, what the absolute fuck is going on?
I'm sure that Megan Fox can find somebody to take off your fucking pain ring.
It's fucking strange.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Very strange.
But yeah,
sure, I guess. But I would love to fight both of them to the.
I want to set up the Logan Paul versus the Undertaker match, and then just watch the Undertaker choke slam Logan Paul over and over and over again.
I would love to see that. I need to figure out who the fuck Doink the Clown is before I lose my fucking mind. Because I swear to God, that sounds familiar.
I'm sitting right in front of the internet. Like, Doink the Clown is a professional wrestler. Yep.
Yeah, I remember this dude now.
He's the Joker. He's a Joker wrestler.
He was from like the 90s.
Yep.
I remember him now. Yeah, he was in some of the old games I played.
Somewhere Amanda and John are shaking their heads.
Yes, they're very well. They're either shaking their heads or they're just like, it's fine that you don't know who Doink the fucking Clown is.
Right. All right. Speaking of not knowing stuff, Glover
Oh my God,
is coming to Steam.
people still remember Glover?
The N64 game Glover, basically their source code has been slightly remastered and they're putting it out on Steam. I didn't have an N64. I've never played this game. It looks fucking weird as shit.
I always remember the cover because it showed up in a lot of stuff when
Yeah.
people talk about the N64.
With the glove jumping around.
I had no idea what the fuck the game ever was about. I still don't know, to be honest.
It's just like a third-person platformer. And then last but not least, we got a few fun things. Apparently, Nintendo's decided that the next addition to the Lego Mario is a Lego Peach.
That's awesome.
A little square Lego Peach with a bunch of new adventure courses that's coming out in August. And so there's information on that. And finally, we got official word this week that Super Nintendo World, the theme park, is going to be opening in the U.S. in 2023 at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Ooh.
So you don't have to go all the way to Japan. Is it weird that I still want to just go to Japan?
No,
I want
you
to use
should.
it as an excuse to try to go to Japan and then also do a bunch of other stuff while I'm over there.
Well, you should. You should do that because when we have to, if us doing it in Hollywood
Hollywood sucks.
would just be annoying.
I hate Hollywood.
Yeah, we would just have
I've
to
been there a
deal-
bunch of times. I'm not a big fan.
Whereas in Japan, that shit is interesting.
Yeah.
And we can also fuck with people.
We can. And that, as I say, is that. This is a fine, massive podcast. I hope you all enjoy my massive, massive podcast. Michael, tell the fine people of the podcast where they can find you when you're not here helping me read too much news.
You can find me on oneofus.net. We do a lot of movie and television reviews. Our Cuphead review finally came out. Turns out it would have been delayed for a bit.
Yeah.
So that finally came out. There are the reviews for the Batman. As well as some subscriber stuff for the crossover event. Stuff that's now on a YouTube channel called Screen Fanatic.
Okay.
So look into that if you can.
Go check it out. And you already know where to find me, or else you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. Ha ha! But if you want to go to Patreon, that's cool too. Now I gotta go back. I gotta play more Elden Ring. I think there's more Elden Ring in there. I gotta squeeze this Elden Ring stone and see if I can get more Elden Ring out of the Elden Ring, Michael.